I think it's time to go.
From the hills and hollers of southern Indiana to the Lone Star State of Texas, we are the hunters of the paranormal, truth seekers. Mount up.
Hello, everybody. We're back again with another show. Tonight's guest is a returning guest. It's Paul Chafin, and he's back with some insight and some evidence with some Dogman. And he's the founder of Kentucky Dogman Project, and he's been on Vic Cundiff's show, Dogman Encounters, episode 354. And that's on YouTube for anybody that would be interested in checking that out. It's, again, it's Dogman Encounters, and his episode is episode 354. How's it going, Paul?
It's going good, buddy. Going real good.
Great to have you here.
Yeah,
Yes,
glad
sir.
to be here.
Good to see you, man.
Hello, Tracy. Hello, Lisa. Yeah, that episode, by the way, is I was listening to it earlier, and I forgot. Man, that one was pretty scary, actually.
What's that, mine?
Yes, sir.
Bad. It wasn't too bad, man. I'll tell you, I mean, like, the one when I was younger was scary, but it wasn't like that bluff charge down here, like, really almost made me quit.
Can you get into that one?
I mean, yeah, I shouldn't have been down there by myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I try not to go out by myself, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying, people just won't go, and I wouldn't get nothing done if I didn't go by myself. So, I mean, I just went down there to check my trail cameras and change the SD cards in them, and then I was just going to bounce back out. But I had that shotgun with me, so I didn't really think anything of it. And, yeah, I got careless, I guess. I decided to go on through, you know what I'm saying? Instead of turn around going back, I decided to just walk on around, and that was a huge mistake. I shouldn't have done that. But, yeah, I heard a dog barking to my left, and it was really loud. It sounded abnormal. You know what I mean? It just didn't sound right. And then I got quiet and looked, and it barked again, and it sounded a little closer to me. And it done that 2 or 3 times, and each time it sounded closer and closer. So, like, the Dogman didn't hit my mind, which probably should have been, you know what I'm saying? But that is not what hit my mind. It was, I thought maybe there was somebody down in there hiking, you know, and had their dog with them. All I could think about was what one of these 3-inch slug mags would do to somebody's dog, you know? So I tried to hit this tree, like, to my left. It was only about probably, you know, it would have held me, but it had thorns all over it. But they were just on a vine growing around the tree, you know what I'm saying? And I tried to climb that tree, and them thorns stuck in my head, man. They cut my hand. My hand is still scarred real bad because of them right here. But I couldn't get up in that tree, so finally I just said screw it and turned around with that gun and just got in position. And I was willing to, because once it come out of that thicket, you know what I'm saying, it had to come about 20 feet to me in a clearing, because all the grass was yellow. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen it down there in Texas, but up here it looks like deer have been bedding down everywhere, but I don't think that's what it is. I just think that's the way the weeds are laying. But yeah, it was pretty intense, man. Like, because I thought, you know what I'm saying, in my mind, I know what I'll do if something ever happens. I mean, I got this, you know. I'm pretty handy with a gun. I'm not really scared of a lot. So, but yeah, it put the fear in me for sure. And but it just stopped, that barking and it charging, which I couldn't hear feet. I couldn't hear it like, you know, I couldn't hear it breaking shit, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it just stopped right at the tree line and never barked again or did anything.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really intense. I mean, you had to have been there. It was. thank God I didn't have my daughter or somebody else with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I really would have panicked.
Oh yeah, for sure. Lee, are you still with us?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm having the same audio problems that I always have, guys. You'll have to bear with me. It'll take me a while to get
It's
caught
okay.
up here. So,
It's okay.
yeah,
We
Well,
got
I
it.
I can hear
apologize,
him
Paul.
great.
It's
I can-
it's something to do with StreamYard and YouTube. I'm trying to.
It sounds good so far.
Yeah, Tara, I'm talking to these guys. Sorry. Yes,
That
yes.
sounds.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds good so far.
awesome.
I had a question for Paul on the. If you don't mind me going ahead, Lee.
Yeah, you go right ahead, buddy.
The one on Vixen Counter. I was listening, and when the one you witnessed, you said it looked like it was carrying something, but you couldn't tell. Do you
Yeah,
know
it
if
was just
that dog? Do you know if that dog man was close to a cemetery, or do you know?
Nah, we were on top of a mountain. I mean,
Oh,
there is
okay.
cemeteries back in there, but I don't think it was carrying anything. I think that's just the way it was carrying its arms. You know what I'm saying? Like it had its arms bent up
Like
at
it's
the elbow,
oh,
but
okay.
it didn't have them hung down like this. It just kind of was like, I don't know. It's weird looking, man. I don't know. The whole thing was just, I don't know, very strange.
What's up, Shane? Good to see you, buddy. West Coast.
West Cove. I've got this picture I've been trying to send him for like a month and a half now. It's sitting there on my kitchen table. I just now got bubble wrap because I put the painting in a box, but I didn't want to send it like that because I knew it'd be tore all to hell. So I put some bubble stuff in there with it. I just ain't made it to the post office with it. Yeah, I can hear you guys great.
Yeah, my audio's good. Sean, what's up, Sean?
How are you seeing the chat? What do I hit to do that?
Mm,
Chat. It says chat. Right
I'm on. If you're on our YouTube, Hunters of the Paranormal, to the right, I think if you click on it, everybody should kind of pop up. Like right now, Lee's on there, Sean, Shane, Tracy, me, Mary. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, see, I can see everybody, but I can't
Yeah,
see you.
Lee may we had audio issues last time with Lee, and he came back and it was good. But hey, I had some other questions too I wanted to ask you. Oh, I'm noticing you're getting a lot of pictures lately and better ones, I'm noticing it anyway. You know how it is in this community. People bash and hate whatever, but I'm noticing a pattern and you're getting better pictures. Does this persuade how you still feel about them? You know what I mean? Has it persuaded you in a different way the more you see these pictures in a different way, or are you still sticking with your guns on what these are?
I'll be honest, man. I don't know. Like I every time I form an opinion about it, I get proven. I get proven wrong, or so I
Yeah,
just
no.
I'm trying.
I mean,
I'm really like keeping my own theory and what I think like out of it, and I'm just going with what I'm seeing and what makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as much as you can learn about them really through just video and stuff, but I've seen some pretty crazy things in videos from orbs, and I mean, just watching these orbs, and the only way you can tell that they are because they're lighting the leaves up that they go by. Like if they'll go around in circles and stuff, and like they're like doing like they got a purpose or something, but every time they
yeah,
pass by a leaf, it lights that leaf up. But they go from dogman to dogman. I don't know what what role they play, but it's they play some kind of role in it.
Wow. Yeah, I remember seeing that video of the orb you had. It was amazing. That's the best, by far the best orb video I ever seen. That was during the day. I think you said Daniel Boone, and it was big
No,
old
that was
perfect
down there.
circle. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
by the house.
that's one of the best ones I've ever seen.
Like everything I've got on camera down in the Daniel Boone has been pretty physical looking.
And it was really, it seemed very close to you too.
Yeah. Like I said, sometimes they're really physical looking, and then sometimes they look translucent. And like I've got pictures that I'll send you that
So do
I
you have
haven't seen
any?
anybody yet, but it's literally standing right in front of us, like 10 foot. You can see the whole thing, the whole outline of it.
I remember the orb picture, and it's like almost sometimes you can see faces in the orbs. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know, it is wild, ain't it? Yeah, you can.
Hmm. Shoot, how tall do you think that? Um, when you said on Vix that you thought it was a werewolf at first, that creature.
Yeah,
How tall do you
yeah.
think that was? The one you saw?
I'd say it's about 7.5 foot tall, if I had to guess. I know it was over 7 foot, but I just don't. It was in between 7 and 8 foot tall.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I mean, it
if you
probably weighed
just
about
because
700 pounds.
you could see something 7 and it could probably easily be 8 for sure. Wow.
Well, just the amount of the amount of dog men that I see in these videos and these pictures just doesn't match up to uh, the tracks. I mean, there ought to be tracks everywhere,
Hmm.
but you don't see them unless they're just using the trees to travel. Well, that's what I was telling you before the show started. Was me and Kurt went down to the Daniel Boone the first time that I had casting material with me, and really was paying attention to tracks. We got down there and I found some, and there was a lot of tracks there, some good ones too, big tracks. And I casted 2 of them, but after that, since we've been going back down there hasn't been nothing down there, no tracks whatsoever. And
Mm.
so I believe they probably was watching us and got wise to what we were doing, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, they're here. Yeah, like almost like here they come. We can't do our thing over here anymore.
Yeah, or he knows, you know what I'm saying? Like he knows what's going on. Don't be walking in the mud no more.
Did you see any eye shot on that one, Paul?
Which one?
The one in Fix episode.
Oh no, it was daylight. Like it didn't. It never even looked at me.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, no.
Didn't have
Thank
to look
God.
at these things. Yeah.
It didn't even really. It didn't acknowledge me. But I
Did it
somehow
did it
knew.
have
I
a
knew. Yeah, knew I was there. I know it did.
did it have like a big fluffy tail or no tail? Or do you remember?
No, it had a tail.
Like a big fluffy like chow tail almost, or
I mean,
wolf?
I don't know. I didn't really like. It was all really. It just. I knew its tail hung down and like curved up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say its tail probably would have drug the ground if it didn't have that curve in it. But yeah, it was. I don't know what kind of dog you would even. What kind of dog you would
You just never know.
compare it to? Yeah, it was. Its ears was pointed back, like they were up, but they were pointed back. They wasn't like straight up on its head.
That's another thing. It makes me think of the types. Do you believe in all the types, or do you think they're just breeds?
I mean, yeah, I believe in types, but no, I don't think there's
It's
just
not.
seven. I
I
don't.
agree.
I haven't
I
seen.
agree.
I haven't seen 2 that look alike.
Yeah. It seems like I've seen a couple of the like pit bull style head, or maybe a German Shepherd head if you're lucky, but
Yeah.
not too
Well,
many
I've seen them.
similarities.
I mean, I've seen them look big and scary, like you hear about, and I've seen them look real skinny and like unhealthy and sickly looking, or they look more canine-ish than they do human, and some of them look more humanish. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. It's very rare to even get anything below the shoulders of them, like you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is either. People, I don't know. That's a really good question. Why,
Yeah, that's what's unfortunate. More questions than answers, but hey, we're trying.
Yeah, you never know. That next picture might be the one.
Yes, sir. Hey, Lee, can you hear us?
And even with the pictures, it's
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are we going to be able to share his pics on the Telegram, or do you know?
Yeah, let me work on that here, and then I'll pop it into the room here in a second.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I had a couple more questions anyway.
Okay.
Awesome. I know what I was going to ask you. You told me. I remember you telling me you could just go basically close to any kind of woods in Kentucky where you're from. I don't want to say where you're at, but you know what I'm saying. You could go places just as close as opposed to Daniel Boone and still get activity. That's
yeah.
correct. Yeah.
I can go down here. To Walgreens, like in the middle
That's
of
what I was
town.
saying.
There's a
Yes.
little like 1 acre plot of trees or 2
I,
acres.
I remember
serious,
you.
man.
I know. I remember you sent me a picture of like I forgot where you were, like a little shopping mall, and there was these trees and
Yeah,
a tree
yeah.
line, and you sent and I was like, whoa, man, they are in there, and you could see the heads and everything, and uh, I think Chrissy got one of the best pictures, or you did, that one behind you guys, and it was just ginormous and had the claws, and um, that was a good one too. It's humongous.
Yeah. I used to get aggravated when I would go into these places and there would be people there already. I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? But I've came to I came to find out that's when I got the best pictures and the best footage was when a lot of people were there.
Right.
David, can you see his picture on the screen?
That's one that I got today.
Oh, okay. That's pretty neat, David.
It doesn't. The picture won't get bigger.
I think.
I don't think so.
I think that's as big as it'll.
Okay.
I think that's as big as it'll go. Hit control and scroll up. Hold on. Let me see. Let me try this. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow. There you go. Did you see that?
You can still make it out. It looks like it's standing up, and you can see the head.
Yeah. Can you? Is it getting bigger on the screen?
Hold on.
I'm still seeing the same screen.
Oh, are you? Okay.
David, I'm still seeing David's pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to.
You want me to scroll through?
I think if I go, there we go. I see it better now. If everybody goes to full screen.
Well, I don't need it. I don't need to see them. I've already seen them.
Yeah, I want to. I want you guys to see Paul's pictures.
Okay.
Sorry, those two were mine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is this Paul's right here?
No, that was mine.
No, I mean the one I have up there now.
That was my picture.
This one here with the yellow circle on it.
The white circle.
This one is a yellow circle.
I don't see that on the screen.
Is it not sharing? Oh, shoot.
Not yet.
Let me go back out and see.
They're all on there. It's just, yeah.
You guys having bad weather out there, down there, up there?
Okay, let's see here.
We did a couple of days ago, Paul, more tornadoes and thank God they were still west of us, but they weren't as bad as the ones from like last week. They were really bad.
It's rained here for about 3 days.
There, can you see that one?
Yeah, I
It's
see
still
it.
my picture, or did you change it?
I see it
changed it.
on the Telegram.
Is this on yours,
format.
Paul?
Yeah.
I'm gonna zoom in a little bit.
It's on the Telegram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's on StreamYard. If you look on
Okay.
StreamYard,
Gotcha.
I shared the screen.
There we go.
See, it don't change. The screen don't change for me when whatever's going on.
When you scroll, see, wow. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not an award-winning operator here.
Trial and error.
Yes, sir.
There it goes. There it goes. There we go. Okay.
Now, is this Paul's, David?
Yes. There's a big one in front of that. He'll probably tell you about it. I'm not sure when he got this. I'm gonna go full screen.
I can only see it. That's the one that I posted today. So yeah, it's we got that the same day that I posted that picture of me and my friend wearing our vests and stuff. That's the same day. So that's been about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
He's peeking out around a tree.
Yeah, he's laying there in between two trees. I'm pretty sure.
Is that what that?
I wish it would. I wish it would zoom in a little closer. There we go. You have to go full screen with it.
Yeah, it ain't changing screens for me for some reason. It's just showing me I guess it's showing me somebody's screen.
Sorry about that.
It's it looks like how you open Telegram and you see somebody sent you pictures and stuff. That's what it looks like. But you got to click on them to get them to enlarge.
Yes, I tried to. On my screen it's large, but let me see.
I mean, I already know what it looks like.
Do you want me to send them to Messenger?
No, let me try one more thing here. I want to get out and then go back into it. Let's see. Let's see here. There.
Yeah, I hate doing this stuff on a phone.
Yeah. Did that do it, David?
Not yet. Hold on.
Okay.
No, it's not. When you click on it, it should bring it full screen, but it's not for some reason.
Right.
Hey Shane, what's up, buddy? I see your message or your comment.
Okay, let's see. Is there no picture at all on there, David?
No, sir.
Oh boy, that's frustrating, guys.
Well, you guys just got bigger.
That one that you had of the man, it has a big old head on it, and it looks like it has a mane around it.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the biggest one. That's the biggest one. Is that the one you were talking about? Top 5 pick?
Yeah. I mean, it was a good one. Of course.
Yeah, it looked like a lion was sitting there ready to pounce on you.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks even clearer on my phone. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, you got something going, Lee.
Okay. Did that make it larger, David?
It did something on my end. It started to, and then it went back.
Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. All right.
Yeah, the pictures and
Yeah, if I ever learn how to edit, man, we're good. We're in good shape.
Yeah. Let's see.
well, one guest sent them all on a storm cloud or iCloud, whatever it's called, and then you
Storm
can play
cloud. Storm cloud.
it. Yeah, yeah. Hey, that's what they should be called around here. My bad.
You got that right.
Yeah, right. Here too.
Now
Hey.
I'm now that we've been into it for a while. Now I'm hearing you guys and picking you up good. I apologize to our guests over here. I'm having some technical difficulties. It happens every time for like first 15, 20 minutes. I apologize.
That's why I told you, you need to let David
All right,
send
guys.
you,
I'm
send you
trying
and me a link.
to
see
get
if
that
it does
screen to
him.
come up here.
What did you say, Paul?
He needs to let you send me and him a link and see if it does that to you.
What is it, David?
I'm on my phone.
No, I mean
But
not
it's
right
just
now.
still-
I mean the next time you do it.
I think if I sent them on Messenger, he could click on them though, and they would be big. I'm not sure.
Well, he's the one hosting the whole thing, right?
The show?
I should be.
Yeah.
It's both of us.
Oh, I didn't know if like he sends you a link and me a link and we go in. I didn't know.
Yeah, he does like the technical side. I can't even do that.
Right. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like
I can. No, I mean, I can share the links and stuff, but
yeah, that's what I meant. Like a role reversal one time just to see if it does it to you.
mm-hmm.
I don't know how it works though. I mean, it might as well be Chinese arithmetic. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm
Saw
trying
something
to-
pop up there.
Uh-oh, something's happening.
I saw the screen pop up, and it.
Share screen. Here we go. I had a.
Hey, if they want to see the pictures, man, they can just go over to the group.
Okay.
True.
Can you see it, David?
Scenario.
Yeah, we will plug that group. Yes, I can.
Okay. Now I'm gonna see if I can. There you go.
Okay. Sorry
Did that
about
make it larger, David, or not? If not, I don't know how to get it
Hold on.
any larger.
I'm going off the phone. It looks like it. I'm just waiting for it to pop up on the computer. Here we go. Can Paul see it?
It's still the same screen for me, but you guys go ahead. I'm okay. You can see it. Hell, you know as much about it as I do.
Okay. For some reason, it's not doing it. It's not doing it for me anyway. I'm dumb to it too, Paul.
Sorry about that. We do have. Paul does have the pictures on Kentucky Dogman Project. To any viewers out there, it's a good group. All Dogman. You know, we kind of we try to keep the Sasquatch out of the Dogman groups, and then you know how that goes. But
Well, I mean, I don't have anything against Sasquatch. I mean, like
me either. No,
I follow other groups and stuff, but there's people out there who only mess with Sasquatch, and I guess they think
Right.
Dogman's a joke or
Right.
something. So You just can't mix the communities. You just can't do it.
Well, I love how the groups we got out there, and we don't put up with none of that, and
No.
it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see people coming together, supporting pictures, and there's no drama, no
Well, I mean,
negativity, and
I made a
it's been
post
awesome.
earlier. I made a post earlier in the group and said, just if you invite somebody, make sure you tell them to answer the questions.
Yeah, I've
Because
been.
I'm honestly not worried about how many members I have. I'm just worried about the quality of the group and the people that we have in there. You know what I'm saying? I've turned down and kicked out way more people than I have in there now.
Right. Yeah, there's been a lot coming in, not answering the questions at all, and I just, yeah,
Well,
don't let them in.
Chrissy started sending them a message. Like it, I guess, gives you an option to send them a message and tell them we want them to be a part of the group, but they have to answer the questions. I just decline them.
But I know I got another question for you. I remember on another podcast you mentioned uh, basically everywhere you go. I don't know if it's Daniel Boone or wherever, but there's a cemetery nearly on. You said you could nearly walk by, and no matter where you go, there's a cemetery. Do you think there's a link to Dogman sightings with that, or is that just kind of
Well, there's no cemetery.
cliche?
There's no cemetery that I know of
Okay.
down here by my house now, but down here at this preserve by my house, there's two places by my house, but that place I got bluff charged down here at the nature preserve. There's a cemetery right there, and it's a really old one, and the river's right there too.
You were younger when you got bluff charged, right?
No, that was last year.
Wow. Oh, okay.
It was like spring of last year.
Around the same time you got growled at, right?
Well, it was about 3 or 4 days before I did Vic's show. There it is. I see it. Damn, that's a good picture right there.
I think you got it now.
Yeah, I heard the mouse clicking. I knew he was working.
Lee the G will get it.
Lee the G.
Oh yeah. You guys can see that pretty good.
Yes, that's a good one. He took. Go ahead, Paul. I think that was Daniel Boone.
No, that was down here. Yeah. Usually, if I post any pictures, I'll put Daniel Boone at the top of it. Anything else will be.
There you go. Right there you go. Yeah, it's easily squatting. There you go.
Look at that shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when people say shadows, and then
because he knew how stupid sticks and leaves sounded.
Well, no, if you know, it's even logic. I people have told me shadows, and the whole picture is in a shadow, and I'm like, how can it be a shadow? And the whole picture's in a shadow, and it just don't make sense. But
it don't. Listen, man. If you're outside and the sun's out in broad daylight, it is not natural to see black places. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I know I get their shade, but a solid black spot in broad daylight's not natural.
Yeah, I've taken pictures and then gone home, and man, I couldn't believe how dark the images are on the pictures, and it just blows you away. And I'm like, I know I didn't see that, but
these dogs they'll lay right at the base of trees and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they blend in with what's behind them so good, or whether they're cloaked or whatever they're doing. I don't know.
It seems like some of your best pictures are by big trees, or
yeah.
And some of my good ones are by trees as well.
Now listen, this picture right here is probably one of the better pictures that I have, honestly. You can see its nose really good and clear, and you can see its left. I guess it's its right eye, but us looking at it, it would be the left. You can see that green eye, and then on the other side, it's got like a pinkish red eye. Like, I don't know what was going on there, but that was about 6 foot off the ground. I think I sent the original picture, the original distance. It was only about 20 feet, 30 feet from us. Me.
I'll put another picture in there,
Yeah.
Paul, that shows the eyeball better,
Look at
so you
that.
guys can see it.
That's a good picture right there, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Man, that
And
just
look
goes
at
to
that
show
picture.
you, look, if they can hide that well,
There's people that'll look at that picture. They'll look at that picture right there and tell you that that's nothing. That's a shadow. That ain't nothing. That ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a bear or a whatever they got to say to keep themselves, from being scared to go in the woods. I guess.
Oh man.
yeah, that eyeball in that one is freaky.
I've got 2 or 3 of them like that with green glowing eyes.
There's one in there that you did something to it and it's highlighted better. You can see it. I think I'll put it in there. You got some other good ones too. Oh,
Well, I tried to send you some newer ones. Dog barking at nothing.
There you go.
Yeah, look at that. That was wild looking right there. That one that's right in the center of the screen. That's in the Daniel Boone right there.
Can you see that? Can you see?
Yeah.
That looks like an ear up here or something. Is that the ear right over
here? I believe
Wow.
so. But look at his face. Don't they have a human look to it?
Yeah, it's got. I see the lips and the nose and the whole 9 yards.
Well, what happens is
Wow.
they'll have the little ones like hanging on their head or whatever, and it makes them look weird. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I'll look at a picture and it just looks weird to me, and then 2 or 3 days later I'll go back and look at it again, and then I'll be able to see it. It'll dawn on me. I'm like, oh yeah, well there it is.
It looks like there's something peeking around right in here too.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Wow.
There's 2 or 3 in this picture. And there's another one at the top left-hand corner with its nose right under that branch. Left-hand corner.
Right in here?
Yeah, right there. You can see its nose right there.
Right there. Wow.
Yeah, they look a lot better on the groups. They stand out really good.
It's not as clear on my end.
Oh, you can see them. I can see them. I can definitely see them.
You should see them on my phone. Like they're good. They're clear. I use that 4K setting on my iPhone, man. And I'll be honest, I don't think I could do what I do without the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like it just makes the difference for real.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody that does what we're doing, like I suggest getting an iPhone for sure.
Well, maybe I should just get one just for the camera and the research instead of just the phone altogether. Okay, and keep the one that I like.
Yeah. Well, you'll like the iPhone. Once you get used to using it, you'll like it. That's me. It had to grow on me too. I didn't like iPhone either. I always had Galaxies, but I couldn't do what I'm doing now with a Galaxy. Yeah, it's that same picture with the green eye, but it's I try to, when I post pictures, I try to get pictures of it at the original distance and then zoomed in and stuff. Because sometimes I'll have the picture zoomed in and I can see it clear, but I can
look at that. Look at the face at the top left too. You can see another one, all green face.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a good one there. There's a good one right there.
I try to.
I can see it.
Obvious.
I can see it.
Well, I mean, there's always more than one.
Oh yeah,
They're
definitely.
like copperheads. You know what I'm saying? There's more than one.
Hmm.
See, that's it. That picture right there to me is
When
like,
you find a copperhead in the woods, Paul, is there usually more than one in there?
I mean, I don't know. I don't stick around and look for them, but I just shoot the one and get out. But yeah, I have seen them together. Usually they are together.
Yeah, they're here in Texas. They say when you see one, there's two more.
Well,
Do
like
they
when
have
I hunt,
Do they have a cucumber smell to them, Paul?
yeah, they do. It just depends on what
I,
time of year it is. The smell, you know what I'm
I,
saying? Like,
I was in a boat one time, and we were getting ready to bank the boat on the shore, and there was some bushes on the edge of the, like weeds on the edge of the bank, and the guy that was in the boat, he said stop, and he said back up. He said there's a copperhead in there. I can smell him because he smelled the cucumbers, and so we didn't go any farther.
well, I had this dog one time when I was about 18, 19 years old. I had a really good dog. It would stay with me when I went in the woods. Just a great dog. And we were working on my truck, and I looked, and they had come. The road department had come through and put a 4-lane in, but they had put a drain back behind my uncle's house. They had big boulders, like, I don't know if you ever seen it, but I guess for drainage off the mountain. But them rocks run right by the house and stuff, and that dog was over there acting strange around that rock and like being sketchy and barking. And I went and got a rag, an old rag, and set it on fire and shoved it underneath that rock with a stick. And it smoked, and sure enough, big copperhead come out. And yeah, I shot it, and then we done it again,
He
and
knew
then
it,
another
didn't
one
he?
came out. Yeah, we got another one to come out too out of the rock beside of it. Yeah, see, most of
Oh
the pictures,
wow!
like most of them pictures right there, because it was only an 18-second video that I took. So as I panned by it, I just took different pictures from different.
Okay, this was an interesting one here. Uh, I thought, yeah, you can make it out way better on the group.
Yeah, if you
Apologize
see
for
that to
that.
the left, that one to the left of the circle right there at the bottom of that tree.
Or
It's
right
hard to
No,
here.
make
the
out.
one. Oh, you're not doing it, are you, David? No, it's the
Mm.
little tiny tree to the left of the circle. Right there, yeah. You can see something right there. That's what I was looking at when I noticed that one.
Is it up in here or is it down here?
It's at the bottom right there. If you look,
Like
I
right
mean,
in
you have to zoom in on it a little bit, but you can see it. It kind of, as the video goes, yeah, see it there?
right in there.
It's hard,
Yeah, it looks like
yeah,
it's sitting down.
yeah, it is. But like, man, I wish if you guys was here, I could show you. But look to the left of that on the in between the trees. Like you can almost
Tell
make
me.
out another face. Go
I
right
could
there to the
see.
left. Keep
I
going.
could. There's another one peeking
Right
behind the
there,
tree
right
on the
there,
left.
right there. Go back.
Right in here.
No, go
Right
back. Right
here?
there, right there, right there. Yep. Now go up. See them two black spots?
Like
The
right
one to the
here?
left? Yeah, that's the eyes, looks like. And then just that whole thing looks like a face to me, but it doesn't come in clear enough. But I don't know what it is. Probably nothing. Pareidolia. There's
Look
faces
to
everywhere there though.
look to
It
the
looks
left. Look to the left of the tree. The dark figure. It
Yeah, I
looks
see
like
it.
it's standing up.
like an outline right in there too.
Hmm.
Well, what's weird about it is just like David's pictures, they look like a blob
There'll
as
be
you
a
scroll
cluster.
through. Yes,
Yeah,
and then
there'll be a
all of a
cluster of
sudden,
them.
well, all of a sudden in the next frame, they'll come in really clear, and then the next frame it's a blob again. It's wild, man. I don't know what to call it or what they're doing, but
Hey,
it's
Paul,
It's effective.
I know this sounds crazy, but have you ever um, had pictures you've had for several years and you go and look at them and there's something totally different in them?
Oh, absolutely. I do that all the time.
And it's not like we're going crazy. I'm like, seriously, there's something
Well,
like how can something in a picture manipulate itself and be gone later? and
Well,
then
think about
something totally. It's just amazing.
the things
There's
that I see now and the way I look at videos is not the same at all compared to when I first started. Like, so now I go back and watch videos when I first started doing this, and it's like I never even watched them before.
Wow.
it does something. Look right here in this spot right here, guys. It looks like something peeking around. Like there's almost like a shoulder.
And in the
Shoulder.
fork, like to the left of that, in the fork of that little tree, you can see a face.
Like right over in here.
No, just go up. Keep going up.
Up this way.
Yep, right there. You're on it right there.
Right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that it looks like a face right over here too. Right where you've circled this yellow.
Yeah, that is a face.
Yeah, that's a face.
That's the same picture as the other ones. It's just as I panned by it, I took different pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when I first came. That's when it first came into frame right there. And then as you look, you can see all the pictures keep going to the left. You know, like as I'm panning, because I'm panning from left to right.
This right in here, this
Yeah, I see it.
Whatever that is, it's it almost looks like it's cloaked, like it's distorted or cloaked, and it looks like it comes down.
Yeah, I see it.
And you know what, Paul? There's a guy. His name is Santilli, and I think it's the name of it is Santilli. And this guy, he's invented a telescope that the lenses are kind of. I think he put the lenses in backwards or somehow the concave shape of the lens, he like reversed it somehow, and this guy is picking up what he claims is like dimensional beings, like beings that are in another dimension. The way that he has these lenses set, it can see into the other dimensions.
I believe it 100%.
And you know what I was going to tell you about your camera, like you saying you couldn't do it without your phone or whatever. Maybe the lenses on those phones are turned in a way that you can see things in different dimensions.
Well, think about it, man. I may have mentioned it last time, but do you use an iPhone?
No, I have it's a Galaxy.
Well, if you think about it, what's on the back of an iPhone? Like
all the cameras?
No, just the logo.
Oh, the Apple.
Yeah, with a bite taken out of it.
Yes,
to
sir.
me, that's just wild, man. Like, I don't know why Apple, of all the things they could have used, you know, like they chose Apple and then the name Apple, and then they put an apple with a bite taken out of it. Like, they might as well put a picture of Adam and Eve on there.
There you go. I knew you were going there. That's
does
pretty
it
cool,
not?
man.
I mean, is it a coincidence?
Yeah. And the apple would represent the temptation, right?
The good and evil, the knowledge
yes, sir.
of good and evil. Yeah.
There,
Paul,
a lot of that.
Paul, do you know? Sorry, Lee. Lee told me this.
Right.
Have you ever looked at the Meta symbol for Facebook?
Yeah.
And it's like it's like the snakes that have a hold each other, and you're never getting out of it. You know, like people trapped in Facebook, and they can never get out of it. Yeah, that's the way I took it. Mm-hmm.
It's the infinity symbol.
Yes, the infinity symbol.
Yeah, and once you get locked in it, you can't get out.
I'm electronically challenged. I have no desire to learn either. I don't care. I can operate my phone, and I'm cool with that. I don't need anything else. My girl handles, all the other stuff that I got to do. I just don't have a desire to mess with it. I'd rather go out and gather the evidence. I'd rather spend all day in the woods, honestly.
Yeah.
Now that is a wild picture. I don't even know what to
There's another one for you.
Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, that's a wild picture.
Yeah, I remember this.
You can see its pupils in his eyes. Like, I showed that to people that don't even believe, and they freaked out.
Wow.
I
tried to outline it for people. Some people have trouble, so I try to outline it.
I can see fangs and a tooth. Is that what you're talking about, Paul?
Yeah. Now, if you look at the next picture, you can see You know,
And this was in the leaves and stuff, right? Like it's cloaking.
yeah, this is in the Daniel Boone
Okay.
about 3 weeks ago.
Man,
Oh
hey,
man, this
Lee, you have got to get the. Oh, I see where he traced it in red. Yeah, Lee,
Yeah.
you have got to get the FLIR out there to him, and you guys try to make something happen.
oh yeah. This one here is I like this one here. Check this out. Let's see. I like that one.
Yeah, now listen, that picture got blurry, all right? That's a tree right there. But that picture got blurry, and that's what it showed in the blur. And then a couple of frames later, it was the tree again.
See, there's some kind of you're picking up some kind of distortion.
Yes, this one right here to me was a top 5 for him because
Yeah,
there is okay. You know the uh, Lee sent me a picture of the tree energy, and I forgot what that was taken with a real telescope or something.
Carillion, it's a Carillion photography that shows the
Carillion
electrical
photography.
energy.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, there's a guy that takes pictures. He takes pictures of smoke and gets faces in it. He takes pictures of like boiling water, all kinds of stuff, man, and gets some of the wildest pictures that you've ever seen on YouTube. I think I sent it to you, didn't I, David?
Yes.
You know, guys.
It's like faces
go
and all kinds of nature, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
That's a
guys,
good pick right there.
There's they're starting to prove that water holds memory, right? And there's always moisture, there's always humidity and moisture in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And if that moisture could be manipulated, I know people frown on using the words portal or other dimensions, but if there was these rocks, these quartz rocks, like he's in an area down there in Kentucky where there's a lot of rock.
It's a lot of granite.
Quartz. Yes. And granite has quartz in it, and quartz, you can actually go onto the MIT website and you could actually take a free course on quartz crystals. Quartz crystals, when they're under compression, causes what's called the piezoelectric effect.
Yep, I've heard
remember they used to use quartz crystals in crystal radios. They used to have a lot of radios were on crystal radios. Well, that's a frequency, it's giving off a frequency. So if the conditions were just right with the moisture in the air, which holds memory, and they're going to make computers, they're working on making computers right now that run off of water. And if the water can hold memory like that, and the granite has an electrical charge to it and discharges, why couldn't it be feasible that those two elements maybe put together could cause what we know of as a portal? And I'm just speculating, but anything's possible,
Well, I listened to David Pilates read a letter like on 3 or 4 shows of his or videos of his ago, or last week, or whenever it was. He had a video where he talked about he was reading a letter that somebody had wrote in, and they were talking about frequencies and these things, like when their frequency gets real high and strong, that's when they start coming in clear, when they get on the same frequency that we're on.
Mm-hmm.
So they start coming in clear, and if they can match our frequency, then they look solid. But when they're frequent, it's real weak. That's when they look translucent or just barely here or whatever. It made sense, but
our brain is picking up signals all the time. We only use like 10% of our brain or something like that, and there's 90%. And there's people that say, for instance, are under the influence of different substances, the chemicals, or people that have mental illness, and they talk about seeing things or hearing voices and seeing things. Who's to say that their brain isn't picking up signals that they're that nobody else can see, because you're not in that, you don't have that fire in your brain the same way that they're doing it. that
Right.
I believe that those dimensions, and I've worked on a unit with a psych unit before, basically, and those people were sincere about the
Yeah.
things that they had saw, and those, they'll say they're crazy, or they've got mental
Mhm.
illness or whatever. They could actually be seeing that, and here we are thinking that we're the normal ones. Maybe they're the normal ones and we're not.
Well, I mean,
I,
for another person to question somebody else's reality, to me, is a strange thing. Like, I don't really,
yes, sir.
I don't really understand that. But it's there's people out there that have zero trust in the government until it comes to a couple of subjects. You know what I'm saying? There's a
Yeah,
couple
I
of
know exactly
subjects.
what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, the people don't. There's a lot of people don't
Yeah,
trust
and
the government, but
they sure bought into a lot of it, hook, line, and sinker, don't they?
uh-huh.
And that's as far as I can go with that.
I mean, yeah, it some of it's really wild and right in your face, and I think people just cognitive dissonance is a real thing. I think people just
Hmm.
their ego won't let them admit that they've been lied to for however long.
Right. Paul, they don't want to. One of the reasons why I think they suppress all this stuff is because they have the technology that can see these things crystal clear, and they know where they're at and around us at all times. I
Well,
was watching a video. There's a guy by the name of Cliff High, and he said that his father was in the military, and he got to read different briefings and different things like that. But one of the things that his father was involved was testing out new equipment. And when the first night vision came out, it was in red. Like the night vision we have now is green, and then like Gen 3
mhm.
is like black and white. But the first night vision came out in that they were fooling with was red, and the helicopter pilots and would test them out, and they would go up in the air at night and use the night vision and try to fly by that red night vision. And
Mhm.
these men, the door gunner, one time he said started firing his machine gun out the door, and his dad grabbed a hold of him and said, "Well, what are you doing?" And he said, "There's demons out there flying alongside the helicopter," and he could see
Oh,
them with
wow.
that night vision. So his dad put the night vision goggles on, and his dad could see them. And he wouldn't allow him to talk about it anymore. And then after that, they stopped using the red night vision, and went
Have you
went to the green.
have you ever heard of that? There's a couple. Their name is Gus and Grimm. They're a part of the. I think Grimm is a part of the group, but they were on. I can't remember now, but they just did some show on. I don't know if it was Discovery or what it was on, but they stopped in because they're friends with my mom, and they stopped in, and he wanted to go out there, and I took him out, and I was talking to him, and he was telling me that it's just like that wolf, I guess, kind of like that wolf spirit maybe aligns with my spirit. And, that's, he said, because there's people out there who see little elves everywhere in the woods. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, I guess just people just see different things, or they're just more in tune to see different things. Because there's a lot of things that I see that I can't explain how or why I see them. And the fact that that nobody else can, or it's kind of frustrating because,
Yeah.
I see some of these
Um,
things clear as day. Maybe I'm crazy.
Paul, do you have Irish in you, like in your DNA, or
Man, I'm
your
like my
lineage?
grandma's my grandma's maiden name was Sullivan.
Hey, you know what? That was one of one of my grandmother's names. Was that maiden
Hmm.
name? Yep,
It
yep,
used to
sure
be
was.
O'Sullivan. It was O'Sullivan
Yep.
until they moved to America.
They have something called I don't know if you've ever heard this or not, but this is what I was told. It's called the Gaelic gift, and they have basically second sight where they can see deceased loved ones or whatever, and strange things like you're talking about. But they have what's called the Gaelic gift, and
Well, I
I
formed
think
an
that's.
opinion. I formed an opinion about spirits and ghosts and stuff, just
Hmm.
because of late, I gave my life to the Lord like I don't know, a couple of years ago, got baptized and all
Mhm.
that. And like I stripped everything that I thought about religion and God and all that stuff down and just did away with it. And I just only go on what the Bible says. I try to, and I try to keep my theory of what it is out of it, and just
Right.
go on the word, and I've seen that necromancy and using the stars and the moon and stuff to tell the future, and just ghost hunting, all that stuff is frowned upon. Like, God,
Yes.
it's very clear in the Bible what happens to you when you die. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to hang around and pat people on the back and be a loved one, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think that happens. I think it's
Absolutely.
familiar. Demons the word demon means knowing one, familiar spirits. So
I'm right there with you. I think some of the spirits that people see or what they think of as ghosts, Paul, I think they're demons, and
I do
they're
too.
taking human form to get close.
Well, and that's another discussion that we had, me and that guy Graham down there. Like,
That's just
you
my
know, like
opinion.
what if these things are somehow related to the Bible or God or fallen angels? What if, just hypothetically, what if they are, and they have a spirit, they're just not of God, right? They have a body or whatever. And let's just say somebody goes down there and they have some demons following them. Now these demons want to possess a body, so
Well,
you take them down there around all these creatures, and then you end up with something like Kurt Stokes got on camera,
that's my honest opinion. What these is fallen angels, and that's why I'm not seeing them. And they're showing up in pictures
that
like
picture.
in the spirit world. It's almost like it's almost like they're showing up in the spirit world and showing up on camera, and we can't see them. Or think about this, y'all. Maybe they're going into cloaking when we come around. Like, okay, we got to hide, and we can't see them, and then but our cameras can.
I believe the camera on my phone and your phone, I think the camera's just able to pick up things our eyes was not meant to pick up.
Right.
I think these things, I don't think they're fallen angels, but I think they are a product of fallen angels.
Maybe like a
DNA
hybrid of Nephilim, or offspring of Nephilim, I should say.
Well, we have these cell phones right here, and we have all this fancy technology, but the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. So,
and the Bible didn't the Bible say that there would be things coming into our world that would make us, most people just be like, this isn't right. These are demons. These are something's going on.
Let me ask you and Lee this: do you think that the government is covering up Bigfoot and Dogman and these cryptids because they don't think the public can handle it, or do you think they're doing it because they're afraid people will find out the origins?
Both.
I think it's both, and I would say more on the origin, because once that comes out, then that's going to break the whole. That's just going to break the whole thing loose.
Yeah, everything ever written in every book would just go. Didn't mean anything.
Have you noticed they're dripping?
Oh, go ahead.
That's all right. They're dripping out more and more UFO stuff every day. I mean, every day more and more is coming out. Now they're saying there was 2 UFOs. I just saw an article today where they said there was 2 UFOs that followed a Navy ship that was the size of a car. Both of the orbs were the size of a car and followed the Navy ships around.
Well, and just think, last time we talked about this, we talked about it, and 10 years ago, if you came forward with an encounter, a UFO or an abduction or whatever, they would ruin your life, man. Like, and in some cases, kill people. So now they're telling the public about it. So,
well, they killed Bill Cooper, and then they killed Phil Schneider.
And the fact that Bob Lazar's still alive blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That
I think he basically probably eventually made a deal with them and had to shut up. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. But yeah, Phil got the yeah, or that. But Phil definitely got the what, and so did who Lee mentioned.
Mm-hmm. William Cooper.
Yes.
William Cooper, man. If for those in the audience that don't know, they need to
Well,
check
yeah,
him out.
yes, yeah. I was all about Phil Schneider. He opened my eyes up, and then now the Bill Cooper videos are awesome, and he'll open your eyes even more.
I'll tell you another one that you guys need to check out is a guy by the name of Jordan Maxwell.
I swear to
And,
God, I was sitting here thinking his name just now before you said it. I swear I was. And you know what's funny is Bill Cooper.
That's
Bill Cooper interviewed
Empath.
him.
Paul's an empath as well.
Yeah. Bill Cooper interviewed. I'm gonna have to look for that interview, Paul. That I really like it. That Jordan Maxwell, man, he really just breaks it down, man.
Yeah.
Like
He didn't like
I can
Jordan Maxwell too much.
Well, I can tell he's dead serious, and what he's talking about is 100% truth, and you can tell when somebody's full of shit or not.
Well, David Pilates just canceled his last appearance at a convention because he wouldn't shut up and stop talking about the DNA results from the Bigfoot study.
Right.
The genome study, he kept talking about it, and somebody threatened his life, and I guess the FBI got a hold of him and said these people are dead serious. So he didn't even go, and he said the next time he'll have a better plan and he'll have security, and so but why do people want to shut that up?
You know about I know I've said this the last couple shows that have been on, but there's a lady by the name of Karen Hudas, and she does an interview with Gary Frenchie from Next News Network, and her last name is spelled Hudes, I believe, and she talks about there being a second race of human on the planet called Homo capensis, and they have the elongated skulls. And I swear I was watching it. I don't know if it was the Economic Forum or it was one of those things. I saw a clip from it, and these two guys were going back and forth yelling at each other. And the one guy, I swear he looked like he had an elongated skull. And they're the ones she said is in charge of the finance and the economy behind all this. They're the ones that's in charge. And she even went as far to say that they know that I believe it was Moses. Yeah, Moses that come out of Egypt was Akhenaten, one of the Egyptian pharaohs.
Well,
and it
and
was
I mean, everything's a lie, man. Our whole history's a lie. Everything. Like you can go back to the Egyptian times and look at the statues. Go back and look. You won't find one with a nose on it. You know
hey, I'll tell you something. Yes, sir. I'll tell you, somebody else to check out is a guy by the name of Mud Fossil. Mud Fossil on YouTube. Check out Mud Fossil. He's got a video. I don't know if you've seen it, Paul, but you know those statues you're talking about with the noses cut off? He's got a video where it shows one of those statues, it looked like it was about 15 feet tall, like holding up a building, where this thing had fell over. And when the chest cavity on this thing broke open, you could see ribs in it. You could see fossilized. It was like petrified. Everything was like a rock, but you could see ribs in it. You could see what looked like the lung tissue in it that was all petrified. And he said a lot of the those old marble statues and different things like that. He said that the Greeks had a technology where they could turn humans into stone like that, turn them into the instead of chiseling them out, they actually froze them into place and turned them into sculptures.
You know why they're missing their noses?
Why is that? Cut off their face, their nose despite their face?
No, because they had hooded noses. Egyptians were black. They weren't white people. It's insane to believe that. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? You are absolutely right, Paul. I never thought about that, but you're absolutely right.
What it is. I mean, that's exactly what it is. That's why you won't find a statue, even a little statue, a big one, the Sphinx. None of them have noses.
Wow.
Yeah, because they wanted to claim that for themselves.
And they did. They whitewashed it. They sure did.
Truth bomb by Paul.
Yeah, wow. You're absolutely right.
I
believe it.
To believe that a white person like us would last more than 2 days out in the desert in Egypt is almost laughable.
You're right. I watched a video. It was talking about Iran over in over in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that the reason why they call it Iran is because that's where the Aryan people came from, the white complected looking people. And if you look at some of those people over there, they've got blue eyes, green eyes, fair complected skin. And they talk about how Noah and them landed on Mount Ararat, which is close to Turkey in those areas. And they migrated out into those, the Caucasus Mountains, which Caucasus Mountains would be like Caucasian.
I got one for you. How about this? Here's you something to think about right here. Like you say you believe in the Bible, right? You've at least read it.
Yeah.
Well, you know how Cain killed Abel, right? So
yes, sir.
God marked Cain, right?
Yes.
He marked him. Cain said, God, they'll kill me. If people will kill me if they see me. You know what I'm saying? And God said anybody that harms him, will suffer the wrath through generations in their family. But what if God made him white in a group of black people? You know what I'm saying? Like us. What if we're descendants of Cain?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I try to think about stuff like that. Or what if Bigfoot's a descendant of Cain?
Well, here's one that I thought about a long time ago was like the lighter skin color. That like if you go in a cave where there's water or river in the cave that has fish in it, those caves are going to be, or those fish are going to be albino. They're not going to have any pigment in their skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, does that mean that we either came from the Caucasians came from the inner earth, or did they come from a misty place in the mountains where there was a little sunlight?
Well, or maybe the Caucasus Mountains, ain't it? Ain't that where we come from?
Yeah, the Caucasus Mountains. Yeah.
So how'd we get there?
Yeah, up on Mount Ararat, in Noah's Ark.
I've never looked into it, to be honest with you, but
if you look up Mount Ararat, look up Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat, and there's satellite imagery of what looks like a boat sticking out of the snow up there, and they say that you can see it at certain times of the year when the snow thaws out. But I think it's the country of Turkey. They won't allow anybody to go up there on that mountain. But I did see some footage. I don't know how real it was, but it was footage of some Chinese archaeologists that had gotten access to go inside of it. And it was made of wood, and it was huge.
Well, I mean, did you know that there's no real dinosaur bones in this country? That's on display. None of them. Not one single dinosaur bone is on display in this country. Every one of them's a fake by their own admission now.
And you know what, Paul? I went to it was a children's museum, and they had this display. It was called Super Croc. And this guy, he's standing there and he's telling the story of it. And he's saying, we was digging here and found this, and we found that, and we this and we that. And I asked him right in front of everybody, I said, were you on that dig? And then he admitted, no, I wasn't. He said, I wasn't on that dig. And then I said, how much of this skeleton thing down here is real, of this Super Croc? And you know what he said? Oh, only one tooth. Only one tooth on it is real. Now they took a whole one tooth.
Well, they say the real dinosaur bones are put in a vault somewhere, and only some super special 2 or 3 paleontologists have the key to it. That's redundant. That's just so stupid.
That guy, he said there was just one tooth made up that whole thing. Like they designed that whole Super Croc thing out of one tooth. And I just turned at him, looked at him, and I said, yeah, it's Super Croc, all right. Super Croc is shit.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's
excuse my language, but
I just don't I don't know. Maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but I can tell you one thing, every conspiracy that I've believed has come to pass, every one of them. I mean, I'm a fairly intelligent person. I don't just believe anything. Like, I question everything. You know what I'm saying? I just don't fall for any dumb shit. I got an open mind, and I don't laugh at anything or think anything's stupid.
Exactly.
Here's one for you, Paul. Why do little kids have fascinations with dinosaurs? When I was little, I was fascinated with dinosaurs.
The same reason they put a globe in your face.
Me too.
You said a globe.
Same
Put a
reason they
globe
put
in. Yeah.
you're
Yep.
taught that.
And you bring up a good point there, Paul. We don't even know if the world's round. We don't even know what space is. Space could be water up there. It talks in the Bible about the firmament and there being waters is separating the firmament separates the waters of earth and the waters from the waters of heaven.
Well, that's what I was telling you in the beginning. I don't think you heard me, but I can make a Christian denounce the Bible. I mean, like that. You know, I can make them talk about,
Mhm.
oh, well, God just don't know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't. You tell somebody
Yeah.
that the Bible says the world's flat, and I don't care if it's a Bible thumping Christian, they will hee haw around and try to twist the words and talk about meanings. And the Bible says the earth took form like clay under a seal. Now I don't know how much more clear you can be. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't have an ego about it. I mean, you ask your teacher when you're a kid about gravity, and they're like, or like how do people in Australia, how they I mean, they're upside down. Oh well, gravity, and you're like, oh okay, and you just go on now. But when I'm an adult, looking back at it, I'm like, damn, that's so stupid. Like it's raining up. People are driving upside down in cars and swimming in the ocean and living in skyscrapers, literally upside down. It's mind blowing, man. Like I don't knock anybody
you're
for what
right.
they believe, but I mean, I got my own beliefs, and I just go off evidence. I'm not going to go off of Photoshop pictures. NASA says all the pictures are Photoshop because they have to be. That's just dumb. Like you mean to tell me
like
that you're showing us pictures of Jupiter and Mars and putting rovers on Mars, but you can't turn a satellite around and take a real picture of the Earth?
Absolutely.
The
more I watch the footage of them showing the Earth from space, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
No.
And the way that the videos that I've seen where they talk about the fisheye lens, you know what I'm talking about, Paul?
Yeah,
that makes it look round. That's what when you look at it, you can see it. You can see it. And they've been selling us.
The camera will spin around upside down, and then it'll bend the horizon the other way. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
But people have been indoctrinated, man. The first thing when a movie comes on, it shows you a globe and it zooms in. Like, I mean, it's shoved in your face every day, all day.
And we've been sold this lie for hundreds of years, maybe even thousands.
It's not something you can convince people of. You know what I'm saying? Like flat Earth is something that you can mention things to people and hope that they do their research and figure it out for themselves. Because anybody that's a critical thinker who's truthful with herself that looks into it will come to the same conclusion that I did. You know what I'm saying? It's impossible not to.
Yes. I just watched this video. I've watched it 2 or 3 times in the past week where this guy's talking about he's a NASA representative, and he's talking about how we don't have that technology anymore to go to the moon because it was so expensive to make. Okay, we're really going to buy that story. We got planes flying around in the wars with titanium, and we got I ain't buying it.
NASA has got people in harnesses and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. Spinning around doing flips.
They say there's more electronics. There's more electronics in our cell phones than they've had in the spacecraft.
That's what I told David.
Yeah,
I'm coming around.
Well, I mean, think about it, man. We went to the moon in 1969. They came back and threw all the data and the trajectory data. They threw it all away, everything, and now in 2022 don't have the technology to leave low Earth orbit because of the Van Allen radiation belts. Get out of here. That's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
that
you mean the firmament?
They say they can't even get close to the Van Allen belt because they'll start seeing streaks with their eyes closed. They'll be seeing streaks of light, which is the radiation that's so strong
And
coming
if you
off
look
of
at
it.
a
You
picture of the
die
lunar
going through
module. It looks like it's made out of construction paper and tinfoil.
I actually got to see one of the capsules they went up there in, and I was standing there looking at it with my mom, and I looked at her and I started laughing, and I said, "They didn't go to the moon in this." I mean, they
listen.
had seats made out of
Oh
pipe.
yeah, the is that the cardboard door?
Well,
Yeah,
Lee?
listen to me.
had seats made
The
Hey,
cardboard
have
made
you
the,
out of
guys
the
aluminum.
cardboard door.
have you guys ever looked out on a sunny day where there's clouds, but it's sunny and you see the rays coming through the clouds? You know, they look real. It looks
Yes.
real beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But they come through at an
Yes.
angle.
Yes, they
You know,
do. They sure do.
That's impossible from 93 million miles away, man. It's just not. It cannot happen. You know, I'm talking about science here. And then another thing is they tell you that space is a vacuum. There's no oxygen. That's why they wear space suits. But yet they tell you that there's a big fireball burning 93 million miles away, and we'll ignore the science that fire has to have oxygen.
with no oxygen. Yeah, you have to have
Yeah.
oxygen to burn.
It's stupid.
You know, there's a phenomenon that people's been witnessing lately, and it's this. There those, you know how like you talked about the light coming through the clouds at an angle.
They're called
Instead
compuscular rays, is what they're called.
instead of them being the light colored rays, they're dark. Have you seen those? They're black. Like they're the same. They're at the same angles, but they're black. I've seen them, and the one that I saw was going, looked like to me from a distance where I was at, from where my position was at, looked like it was either coming out of or going down into a Air Force base.
Well, listen,
And
do you know that NASA says we're spinning around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour? Ain't that just real convenient?
If we were spinning that fast, none of us be able to take a step because the gravity be so great. I would think.
No, the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, but we're rotating around the sun as the sun shoots through space at the speed of a bullet.
I see what you're saying.
And we're corkscrewing around the sun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But in that corkscrew we're doing now. This is NASA. You can look this up. 66,600 miles an hour. 666, right around the sun.
Wow.
Okay.
Boy, that's a wake up call.
And
666.
The Earth. Well, listen. They say we're doing all this stuff, but yet I can go out here on my front lawn at night and look at the same exact stars that George Washington looked at, that Jesus looked at. You know what I'm saying? Like it literally makes no sense to believe. I mean, it's impossible to believe the Bible is the Word of God and believe NASA. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why are they lying to us, Paul? What are they hiding? They're hiding something from us.
They're hiding God. Now,
yeah,
if you were the devil, would you rather if people knew the earth was flat, then they would know the Bible's real, and then they would know there's real consequences for sin. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a lot harder for the devil to convince people to do the shit that they do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they would rather you just be depressed and believe you come from an ape and you're just shooting through space. You're nobody special, instead of the celestial being that you really are. You know,
did you see
earth.
where? I believe the lady's name's Laura Loomer or something like that. She's a TV journalist, and did you see where she came out the other day and was saying that I believe it was the Rothschilds paid Darwin to come up with that theory of,
I mean, think about it. Global warming,
evolution.
how much money? We pay NASA $50 million a day. If that's not motivation to lie, then there ain't none.
You know, NASA, they say in Hebrew, means deception. Did you know that is the word?
It means to deceive.
To deceive. To deceive.
Okay. Well, there was a project back in the 50s called Project Fishbowl. Okay, they were shooting nuclear weapons up into space and detonating them. They said that was what they were doing.
Yes, they were.
Okay, well, Russia and America had another project going a year later called Project Dominic. And they were doing the same thing, launching nuclear weapons up into space and detonating them. You can watch video of it. But
trying to blow a hole in the firmament, wasn't they?
Yeah, Dominic in Hebrew means of the Lord.
Wow.
Fishbowl of the Lord. I mean, if they're trying to avoid a conspiracy theory, then they're not helping with the names at all. You know what I'm saying? Like it's right in your face, but they think people are too stupid to look into it. I mean, they're just going to take at face value, you know.
You know that the name library starts with the word lie. So if we've been lied to all this time, why wouldn't they put it in a book? All the books. I've heard them say that all the stuff in the library is a lie. They're I think this is what I think is going on. They've technologically reached a point where they don't need us anymore to work. They don't need us for anything. They've got AI, artificial intelligence. They've got machines that can do everything that we can do, probably better than we'll ever be able to do it as human beings. And we're just in the way. We're in the way.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we're an
you got-
inconvenience.
Well, like you said, I mean, our government, Bob Lazar was talking about them test flying spacecrafts that they had. My personal opinion is, now that I look at everything from a firmament, flat Earth position, and I don't knock anybody that don't. If you believe the Earth is round, then that's fine. I mean, it has no bearing on me. I won't lose no sleep over tonight. But
No, right,
I
absolutely.
look at everything through that standpoint now, and I don't believe that nothing's going out of this Earth and nothing's coming in. So they're coming from somewhere, and there's something else other than the aliens as we know them. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
fallen angels, if you want. Because what if? I mean, when we, like you were saying earlier, when we think about back in the day, you think about angels and stuff. You think about white robes and violins and horses. What if it was more like Star Wars?
Paul, I've looked up at those stars in the air or in the sky at night, and I've thought to myself, all we've ever been taught is those are like suns and planets and all this, galaxies and this. Now, what if what we're looking up there is an infinite amount of cities?
Well,
they can be cities.
Yeah. I mean, do you know who the biggest purchaser in the world is of helium?
No, I do not.
Take a guess.
The largest purchaser of helium?
Yeah.
NASA. Was it NASA?
Yeah.
For the weather balloons?
For their satellites.
Yeah.
They go up to Greenland, Antarctica, and somewhere else, and they launch these satellites up into these whatever they're called, some kind of winds that go around, and they
like a jet stream.
Yeah, something like that, like a current.
Wow.
Yes.
But they send them up, and they send them up like they'll send up one like every 10, 15 minutes, and they'll do that for days. And that's how they keep. I believe. I mean, if we had satellites, I don't think we would really need a tower every 20 feet like they got them here.
Absolutely. I take it over in Russia, they don't use, how like they have the 5G networks and we've got 4G and 5G networks here. They've got something over there called Li-Fi, and their internet runs through the lights. Like it transmits through light.
Wow.
So, and that would be there. They talk about, all we know about the Russian people is what we've seen on TV and what we've been taught, that there are enemies, but they're just like us, man. They're just like us. They're
Just
not.
like us.
They to me, they will never be my enemy because we go to space with them. They share an international space station. We've done everything with them. We fought in World War II with them, and they were our allies. But they needed them as the boogeyman.
I'll be honest.
Against
The only thing I believe that's been in space is our imagination.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's the way I feel about it.
I think so too.
I don't think. I mean, that dude stayed in space the longest anybody had ever stayed up there. It was like 666 days. I mean, why?
That was a Russian too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's so blatant right in here. 666. Come on, they just keep popping that number in there. They're good though. I'll give them that.
I heard something the other day. It was interesting. It said something about we have 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons, I think, in our body.
Ain't that something?
Which makes up 666. Mark of the beast. Is that would mean we were the beast. We were made to lay with the beast in the field, right?
Well, I mean, he's the king of this world. He is. God asked him where he'd been, and he said, roaming my estate. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd been out, he'd been gone, he'd been looking around his estate, talking about the earth.
And that's when you brought up a good point about these cryptids. I'm going to touch back on the cryptids here.
Yeah.
This is all pointing back.
What,
this is all
yeah.
This is all pointing back to him. Dogman,
That's what got me.
Bigfoot.
I started looking into the Bible and the Book of Enoch and stuff, trying to see if I could find something that would, I guess, relate to what I'm seeing and what's going on. Something that maybe isn't talked about all the time. Like you don't never hear that phrase or that verse I told you. Like it's Psalms, or no, I can't remember what it is anyway. But the one that says that the earth took shape like clay under a seal. I had never heard a preacher or anybody say that in my life. So I was just curious to see if I could find something, and that's what led me into the flat earth subject, because I had seen the videos before, and I was like everybody else. I just laughed it off. But I'm a very open-minded person, and I won't lie to myself just because I don't want to believe something. I'm not that type of person. I go wherever the evidence takes me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm an honest person.
What do you think about
too, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe the what we think of as extraterrestrials? Maybe they're just coming up out of the ocean.
Well, that's what the Navy says. They see them diving into the ocean and going in and going into mountains too.
USOs.
What do you think about that theory, Paul, about the aliens coming up out of the water and having bases under the water?
I believe either the aliens, I believe they are either demons, or I believe they are biological entities made by fallen angels.
Yeah, and they go into volcanoes too. Have you seen the videos of them going in and out of volcanoes?
Well,
these things appearing in and out of the volcanoes. How are they doing that?
Well, I watched a video the other day, and I had been wondering about this myself. You know how we were talking about the firmament earlier? I started thinking, isn't there big craters here on Earth? Okay, I watched a video on it. That guy.
Where do you think the dogmen play in all this?
Well, that's hard to say. I think the dogman and Bigfoot both, and I think there was probably I think there's all kinds of different cryptids. I really do, and I think they all come from the DNA. I think the fallen angels were trying to turn everything on Earth into something that was not of God by DNA manipulation. So if they were doing that back in the times that they were doing it, imagine what they're doing now. It says, "As in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the end." So,
see, that's the thing. So many people
transhumanism.
Well, that's the thing, Paul. So many people in the cryptid community think fallen angels can't be flesh and blood. Well, why not? We don't know that. Why can't they come in the form of flesh and blood? We just don't know it.
Well, I mean, I honestly don't know, and I'm not 100% about anything I say. I can just give you my interpretation of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was saying about the craters earlier. Like, just stuff like that. It lines up with Bigfoot, Dogman, everything that we're told, David? Man. Like,
no, we're good. We're good, Lee. Go ahead, brother.
I watched a video on these craters because that's what I was interested in. How could that be if there's a firmament? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the guy.
I was told one time, Paul. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, the video said that God opened up the deep when He flooded the earth, right? It rained down. It rained down waters, and He opened up the deep and allowed water to come up through the earth. So these big places that look like craters and stuff were geysers, kind of, I guess is what you would call them. Like, But anyway, just that ties into everything with me. Just like I said earlier, the history that we know, because Christopher Columbus. There's so many people. There's cave drawings of Dogman. There's so many things throughout history that show that these things are real and exist. So, and I mean, you got a picture right now on the screen. There's no denying that. the picture looks better there than it does on my phone.
You sure got some good stuff, Paul. You sure put a lot of time into it, man, and it shows.
Yeah, I'm a type of person.
We really
man,
appreciate what you're doing, man.
I go with my gut on everything. Dogman, everything. Like when I'm out in the woods, I let my gut and my instinct lead me. I don't ignore it. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very aware of what's going on.
Have you ever had any experiences, Paul, where you were out there and you just felt like, I don't need to be here right now, I need to get out of here?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I've had that happen. I've had it happen a couple times to me.
I mean, I don't know if these things will attack you, and I don't want to be the first guy to find out, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I know they get mad. I think some of them, I think they're very diverse. I think you might run up on one who really hates humans, really don't like us.
Now, Paul, when you find these things or you encounter them or you take your pictures, are you getting pictures of them more up on top of the hills or down in the valleys or just on the sides of hills, or is there any pattern to it, or they just show up anywhere?
Anywhere there's a tree line.
Anywhere that there's a tree line.
I mean, and people. You know, I don't think like the one I seen when I was younger in the mountains. I don't think it was from there. I don't think that's where it lived. I mean, just because I know the area and it don't make sense. You know, like it doesn't make sense for an animal that big to be there because there's not enough food there to keep it alive, for one. But I just didn't get that feeling that it was from there. To me, it was gone. It passed through. That's what it was doing. Like it was going. It was on its way to somewhere.
Did it growl?
No,
Paul,
it never made a sound.
Never made a sound. Now, did it make a sound while it was walking? Could you hear it rustling leaves or anything like that?
I'm sure it did, but everything went silent, man. Like it was just dead silent. I couldn't. I don't know if it was in my head that it happened and went silent, or if it really went that silent. But something happened. It did something to me. You know, like it was something that was involuntary. I had no control over. So that.
I bet it did. It kind of put you in shock when you saw it. Like you were just like in awe, or were you just like dumbfounded? Were you like, "Am I really?" Did you think to yourself, "Am I really seeing this right now?"
Well, when I first seen it, it was just a black blob. Like I couldn't. I don't want to say blob. I mean, it had form to it. You know what I'm saying? But the color of it was so dark that it was hard to see the lines like you would when you look at somebody. You can tell where their arm is, even though their body's behind their arm, you can see it as they're walking. You know, like this thing was
like it
just
absorbed
so
the light.
Yeah, it was just so black that I couldn't see its arm. You know, like until it got at a certain angle, and then I guess I don't know if it was the sun. No, you know, it was like a gray sky, but I don't know if it just came out of the canopy more, and I just got more light on it. But I finally put it together what I was looking at.
Could by the way it was walking, Paul, could you tell if it was trying to stay within the shadows of the trees? Was that kind of moving in an area like that, or just it didn't really care where it was going?
It didn't look to me like it gave a shit. Like it really didn't look like it cared much about, I mean, because I had a big gun with me. I had a big gun. Like it'd blow a hole through the size of a pop can. But
did it cross your mind to bust one off at it?
Hell no, no way.
When I saw what I saw in the woods, it come walking in and stopped within 30 yards of me, and then the eyes lit up, and I had my gun leaning on the tree, and it never crossed my mind to pick that gun up. I was just so awestruck and dumbfounded. I just couldn't believe what I was looking at.
Well, you
These
know
two.
what bothers me about it is I sat there for I probably sat there up against that tree and slept for like 30, 45 minutes. I don't know how long was that thing there. You know what I'm saying? Was it right there
Mhm.
with me, or
Mm,
because as soon as I
creepy.
stood up and started to walk off,
That's
that's when
creepy.
that's when that feeling hit me, and I just dead stopped in my tracks.
Mhm.
I think honestly, I knew better than it being a snake because it was like November. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no snake out.
Mhm.
So I didn't know if maybe it was a bear or a mountain lion. I just got the feeling that. Have you ever walked up on a rattlesnake or a copperhead in the woods and
Hmm.
Mhm.
realized that you walked right by it?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
It'll make your
Very
knees
scary.
weak. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
That's how I felt. Like,
And think about this, Paul. When you see it, it's like you look right at it. Like you have. It's almost like you're sitting at a restaurant and you turn around and look at somebody right in the eye, and they've been staring at you the whole time.
well,
That's
you asked me
I've
if
had.
I thought about shooting it. No, I didn't.
Mhm.
But it never looked at me either. If it had turned and maybe like made some kind of threatening gesture, now I can't tell you that I wouldn't have plowed one. I would
Mhm.
have dumped that whole shotgun in it. I
Mhm.
don't care, and ran home. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what would you do in a scenario like that if one.
You did what you could do to survive, and that would just be all that you would be able to do. And here's another thing, Paul. What if this thing was out there protecting you somehow?
Man, it
You
may
know,
have been, man. I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know. That's what I'm trying to figure out how that thing ties into us and our reality. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
yes. Hmm. What had you been thinking about, Paul, when you were walking through there? What was you just thinking about hunting? Just thinking about getting a
No,
deer?
I
Or do you
was.
even remember what you was?
Well, when I woke up, I was thinking that damn, it's going to take because in an hour from the time I woke up, I knew it would be dark, and I knew that I was
Hmm.
farther than an hour from the house. So that's
Hmm.
really what I was thinking about. Was like, man, I'm gonna have to double time it, or I'm not gonna be able to get out here before dark. And I don't know if you've ever been in the Appalachian Mountains in the nighttime, but there is no light.
Hmm.
You literally can't see your hand in front of your face.
Hmm. I'm in some
So,
hills and hollers here where I'm at, and it's dark.
uh,
David has seen that on the videos I've shot at night here.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
It's and when it's dark here, like you said, it's dark.
The
yeah,
hills
man.
and
Um,
You don't
hollers.
have that light from the city. It's
mm-mm, no, I've
man.
like where it'd be the closest to what where you're at, where we live at here, it'd be south of me, be kind of southeast. And we've got a Hoosier National Forest, and it's got big hills and hollers in it. And you get down in them, it gets dark early in them too. But
Well, I lose a lot of sleep over the subject and over just the encounters and just the things throughout my life. You got to think though. I've experienced a lot of death in my life, probably more than
mm,
most. Like I've lost everybody. Mother, father, uncles, aunts, grandpa, grandma. Everybody's gone. Friends, all my friends growing up's dead. Every one of them. I don't have
oh
anybody
my,
left. So
we
I don't know if that plays a role in it, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
Maybe.
Paul. Once you've seen things like that, it just lights a fire under you to want to know what it is. And honestly, I know as sick as this sounds, I want to see it again. I want to see what I saw again.
Well, I mean,
And
what
I'm
you want to
always
do
looking.
is you want to see it in a controlled environment. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I feel.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Uh, I,
Absolutely.
I don't want to be in the middle of nowhere, and but I put myself in that situation, so I'm willing to deal with that if that's what happens. In
Mm-hmm.
the pursuit of what I'm doing, I don't have any bad intentions, and if they can read that, then that's great. But I don't. I carry a
I,
gun with me, but I don't carry it for
mm-hmm.
that.
I had a repeat of almost a repeat of what I saw in the woods, but the eyes weren't as big. But there was more than one the second time, and they were blue. The first time they were yellow and white, but I they're out there, man. That stuff's out there. It's a reality, and that
Oh
they
yeah.
don't want us. They don't want us to get. They don't want us to get our stories out there, and that's why they use the ridicule and everything to shut people down, and shut them out.
Well,
And
I'll
it's real,
show.
man. What I saw was real.
Well,
I'll go to
listen,
my grave. saying it.
I'll show somebody who's never seen Dogman or heard of it in their life. I'll show them the pictures and stuff and tell them about it, and they will freak out. They're like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe that," and they will go right back to their life and never think about it again. That right there alone to me is shocking. Like, there's upright walking canines in the woods and nobody cares. What?
Mm-hmm.
That don't bother nobody? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it just takes a special person to want to know about it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Do you know anything about the Hopkinsville, the goblins?
I did
Have
not,
you ever
but
heard?
that was a great story though.
You don't know anything about it or the true story?
I've heard it, probably the same thing you've heard, but
Just
I
like the
don't.
alien thing, and they fought him.
Yeah,
They shot at him and stuff. Yeah.
all night long, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all night long. I take it until daylight. Hopkinsville's that's not close to where you're at. You're quite a ways away from there, aren't you?
Hopkinsville's about, I'd say 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe longer. West
It'd be
from me.
west of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I live like dead center of Kentucky. Like, you almost can't. Like, I live about 15 minutes south of Lexington in a town called Nicholasville.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Paul. Everything you've heard about the LBL over the years, what do you think? Really happened, or just a crazy maniac?
I think something happened.
Or animals, or what do you think?
I think something happened that was off. I mean, clearly, look at the picture on the screen right now. Something's out there. So, do I think something happened down there? Probably. But do I think we'll ever know the real truth? Probably not.
I've been there. I've been down to Land Between the Lakes, and what my experience was, and even my mom would vouch for me because she was with me. It was me and my mom and my aunt went there, and it had a weird vibe to it, a weird feeling. It was like while you're there, you're being watched the whole time, and you're being monitored the whole time. Like, they know you're there. Like, and I'm not just saying the creatures, it's like the people, they know you're there.
Well, when I was 12 years old, 10, 11, and 12 years old, I lived down there in Murray, Kentucky, which is right on the other side of Land Between the Lakes, just a couple of miles. So my first deer that I killed back in the early 90s was in the Land Between the Lakes. My dad was with me, and I mean, we never seen anything or.
You got more activity where you're at than the LBL probably.
Well, I mean, I don't know any
that
national
you know
park,
of anyway.
Any national park, I believe, is eat up with these things.
I think so too. And you know what? Here's another thing that just came to my mind. I've heard that is the Daniel Boone. It's a national forest, right?
Yeah,
is national forest. Okay, I've heard him say that they signed a treaty with the UN that they have access to all our national forests. And what if they've got a lot of like military bases that are maybe in the deepest parts of these places, and they use these creatures as a deterrent to keep people out. Or if people don't, they get too curious or too close, maybe they'll send these creatures out to do the dirty work for them.
Well, I mean, not to go back on the subject again, but the Bible says that man's hearts will fail them for the things that will come upon the earth in the end. So,
yeah,
from fear, men's hearts will fail them.
Their heart will fail them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, what could that be?
I talked to somebody it was a chat room the other night, and they had a theory that the government uses those creatures to abduct people in those national forests.
Well, have you? I'm sure you've heard that story by David Pilates where he talks about that little boy going missing, and and that little boy talking about his grandma shooting sparks out of her head in that cave and stuff. A woman that looked like his grandma.
Yeah, that story freaked me out.
Yeah, me too.
Because we're talking. He kind of suggests that it was a robot. Was that kind of what you took from it, Paul?
That was
a robot.
That was Mount Shasta is where that happened at. But after he told his grandma about that, this was about a month or two after he came back. Nobody ever asked him anything, and he told his grandma. He told his grandma on a drive one day. He's like, I didn't like the other Cappy, because that's what he called her, was Cappy. And she's like, what are you? Because she had a mind like ours, and she's like, what? What are you talking about? And he told her that story, and then it really hit her hard, because a couple of years before that, her and one of her friends had stayed up there at Mount Shasta and woke up face down in the dirt the next morning with a place on the back of their neck. So, I mean, it almost sounds like something took their DNA or whatever and then made something that was biologically like them.
Like a clone.
Yeah, but that little boy wouldn't do something that thing was telling him to, and it got mad, made him leave.
Yeah.
So,
wow. And what it wanted him to do was kind of disturbing too. You know it, Paul?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, honestly.
It wanted him to. Now this is going to sound stupid when I poop on a piece of sticky paper. Remember? Now that right there, that's what those details. Now check that out. The details that little kid went into is above and beyond details that little kids aren't going to just tell.
A normal kid would know. Yes, exactly. That's your answer right there.
I mean, he even described what they it sounded like people was in its suspended animation, like in the caves, like they were frozen, like they were frozen in place.
Well, he said there was a bunch of purses and old timey guns laying around the lip of the cave.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Amazing stuff.
You know, there's so much amazing stuff out there in this world, and you know, and they've hid it from us. And you know, we've been fortunate. Yeah, exactly. And me and you, Paul and David, we've been fortunate enough to see a glimpse of it. You know, to know that it's a reality.
I'll be honest with you, nothing that we've talked about, you know, other than maybe an encounter with a dogman, isn't anything that somebody can't look into themselves.
Absolutely. And all that. But the problem is nowadays, Paul and David, is that they've suppressed the internet. Yeah, and they've suppressed so much stuff on the internet. Back when I first started out looking at stuff on the internet, man, you could find anything. You could find top secret aircraft and all kinds of stuff. And they have taken all of that information offline, and it's a real disservice.
Well, there's an agenda being pushed on us, and you already know what it is. It's
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it because we'll be probably flagged and took down or something. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's
oh yeah,
we know what the agenda is.
Kids. It's being pushed on our kids.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it's a reflection of not the one that's upstairs. It's the reflection of the one that's downstairs. It's glorifying that one.
I mean, anybody that can read the book of Revelations and then tell me that book's not real is lying to themselves.
Well,
I don't know. If I can figure out what role these things play in this whole situation, or you know, like, I mean, Christopher Columbus talking about a dog-headed tribe of people. I've got some on camera that look just as real as I'm looking at you right now, here, David. And there's some
Saint Michael
clear
too.
and translucent.
And there you go again. The clear and translucent ones. Does that mean that they're coming in and out of a different dimension, or do they have the ability to, you know, like the only way I can reference it is, or think about it is like an electric eel, for example, can create enough electricity, it can shock another mammal, you know?
Well, so like I was telling you earlier, the orbs going from dogman to dogman, I believe that plays a role in the cloaking. I don't know how or why, but it does. Now and they go from one straight to the next. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in a few minutes later in the video, you'll see that same orb come out of that one and go to another one. I don't know.
Hey, you know, you know, when I saw the blue-eyed, whatever these things were, they blue-eyed beings, they was only, whatever they were only about 4 foot tall at the most. But the last time I went up there, and it went at night, and we was trying to have an encounter with them again, I saw an orb come shooting down the hill. So there was an orb activity there as well. Go ahead.
Question,
Go ahead, David.
question in the chat. West Coast Shane, what's up, brother? Question for Paul: do you believe Corey Godsey was killed by dogmen?
You talking about that boy that was killed in Kentucky?
I'm pretty sure.
Is that the one?
That's the
Was
one
he
that
pulled
drove
up a?
for, huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one that was 13. Shane, is that the boy that was 13?
He was pulled up a hill, right, Paul?
Yeah. He wasn't killed by no pit bull, I can tell you that. He wasn't killed by no mountain lion. Ain't no mountain lion drug that boy up. Now, 14 years old, that's over.
I think he was wearing a backpack too.
Yeah, no, there's no way. There's no way a mountain lion drug it. You know, and
Well, you know what?
They scrubbed the story. You can't even find that story anymore.
If he was wearing a backpack, and they said it was a cat will bite you on the back. Like they'll bite the back of your neck. So if he was wearing a backpack, that cat had a hard time putting the gnaw on him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it was 400 feet up a
almost a vertical
straight
cliff.
up. Yeah, it was straight up.
Yeah.
So
down here in
that
Kentucky,
that was a cover up.
Yeah,
for sure.
Down in Kentucky and West Virginia, some of them areas are just straight up, man. There ain't no way you person or dog, especially a pit bull, they ain't gonna go up, or a mountain lion ain't gonna go straight up like that.
You know as well as I do, ain't no pit bull gonna try and hide anything it's doing.
Mm-mm.
He had another question earlier we didn't get to. The one that kind of everybody asks, Paul, flesh and blood or interdimensional?
Both.
There you
I
go.
think so too.
There you go, Shane. That's a good answer, Paul. I agree.
I mean,
I
genuinely believe that.
I used to be on the fence about both, but why can't we be on the fence about both? You know, it's just one of those things.
Well, there's a lot of people who do this research and they have an opinion formed. I did when I started. Everybody forms an opinion about what they think it is, and regardless of what evidence they come across, they will hold on to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just different.
Mm-hmm.
If I come across something that don't make sense, then I'm gonna look into it.
I'm open at this point of the game. I'm open to anything and everything.
Well, I'm the same way.
I'm open to portals. I'm open to all of it.
Too.
You know, but hey, here's one. Here's one for you. You know, they got that CERN, the super collider, and they're firing an atom in two directions to collide, and they're trying to create a black hole, right?
The God particle.
Yeah, and they're already openly admitting that they are going to be able to open up a portal to other dimensions, and that
have you seen
other
the statue they've got out front?
Yes, it's Shiva, and she's the goddess of destruction or something like that, or chaos or something. I'm not sure.
But I thought she was demonic or underworld.
It's bad. Mm-hmm. They say out of chaos comes what is it? Order or something like that. But they're openly admitting that there's portals and there's other dimensions. The scientists are openly admitting that. Now, can we believe it? I mean, at this, why are
they putting cages on those caves? Is that the portals or is that?
Well, let me ask you something. Whoever's at the top doing this thing, CERN, if hypothetically,
we know
if the world is flat, like I believe it is, but if it is, and these people know it, what are they really doing over there with CERN?
Absolutely.
What are they really
are they trying to bring
in?
something? Yeah, what are they really trying to bring in? That's the question. There's your $1 million question. What are they trying to bring in?
Yes,
and it goes beyond trying to prove the God particle and the Bose Higson or whatever they call it.
Well,
They're-
try
they're-
doing this from now on, just for a week or two. Everything that you think about, like everything you wonder about, try wondering about it through the eyes of somebody that believes the Earth is flat. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh.
and then look at stuff in that manner, like I don't know your religion or whatever. A religion, I think, is stupid anyway. But your beliefs, I guess.
I believe that God's everywhere and He's in the woods, and the woods is that's my
Well,
church.
Do you
Nature's
believe in
my church.
Mine too. I mean, I leave my problems at the tree line. I mean, I've said that my whole life.
Yes, sir.
But I mean,
I believe in Jesus Christ is what I believe in.
Right. Well, I believe the same thing, and
Yeah.
there's people out there that don't. But
I
found out.
I believe.
I prayed my whole life. All right, but
Yes, sir.
nothing ever happened for me. Okay, but as I got older, now I'm almost 40 years old. Here in a few months or bunch of months, whatever. But I learned how to pray from the heart. And 4 years ago, I was homeless. Right now, I've got anything and everything I've ever asked for from God. I mean, from the woman to the house, the dog, the car, weapons.
That's amazing, man.
Motorcycles. There's no way that I done it on my own.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you like where we've been in life, a lot of times we don't know why in the hell things are going the way they are, or things are getting bad or whatever. But then later on in life, it's always been, you can always look back and see why you were there, why you were doing what you were doing.
Well,
Like,
and I believe that's
I can look back.
That's why they call it born again, because you see everything through a new, I guess, new eyes. Like you just see the world different. You don't. That prayer really does work, and I challenge anybody on here to really try it and see. I was at the point in my life where I had tried every drug and I had tried everything else but God, so why not?
Yeah.
Right there with you, brother.
Yeah.
Prayer works. We found that out recently.
Yeah, we did.
I'll say with Kat, I won't go into it, but
Well, I mean, even right
we
now,
prayed
today,
it just you witness it once you witness the power of prayer, you just know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now today, still I struggle with depression, and
me
sometimes
too,
it gets
brother.
real bad. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to be alone.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man.
I'm right there with you. I'm with both you guys on that.
I learned it's real hard. I relate. The first thing you got to do is get out of bed.
Well, the first thing you got to do is stop taking
then,
you got to stop taking these stupid pills that the government give you. That's number one. Or you get from this pharmaceutical company or whatever, because I don't think any of it's done, made to help you, or it's to numb you to, well, like we were talking about earlier, all the abilities that these creatures have out in the woods. We probably have the same abilities or something like them, but it's been dumbed out of us.
And I think, and I think this is my thought on it, and what I have felt in my spirit whenever I'm out there, where I know that these things are at, is they've got something to teach us. There's a lesson in it. There's a lesson there. And I think that's part of what keeps me going back, is they've got something to teach us.
Well, I've thought about it often, like is what I know, like I mentioned earlier, necromancy. I don't know if you know what that means or not.
Isn't that
ghost hunters?
It's something to do with the dead. Yeah.
People who contact the dead and ghost hunters and stuff like that. I mean, just is what I'm doing wrong? Am I seeking these things out? Am I, is this wrong what I'm doing?
I see where you're going with it. I see is it a taboo? Is it something that's taboo that you shouldn't be doing?
In God's eyes, should I be doing it? So, I mean, I struggle with things like that, and I try to not idolize them, or like I try to follow Scott Carpenter's advice and stuff and keep it.
Yeah, Paul, not to cut you off, but I asked that same question to Don Neal, and he's a good friend of ours, and he's a pastor. And I brought up that same point. I said, I feel like these are kind of consuming me. but I'm also worried that I'm making this more my number one than over God. And he goes, no, you're doing the right thing as long as you don't make that your number one.
Well,
You know,
it says
put
to
God
expose
first.
evil.
Yeah, put God first. Right. And that's funny you said that because he brought that up. He said you're doing the right thing, and you know, as long as you keep your relationship with God and don't let that fizzle out, you know, like a coal. And then he's a good man. We've had him on our show.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
and
Yes, he
here's
is.
he he uh, he made me realize too.
well, here's what we know. I've spent a lot of time out there around these creatures, as well as a bunch of other people have, like you have, and nobody, you know, they've never
Well,
harmed me. So I mean,
well, Paul,
they've had plenty of opportunities.
I don't see him, and I just know that my biggest fear is what if I'm 2 feet away from one and I don't even know it, and I'm taking pictures of something 40 yards away, and there could be something right there by me, and I just don't even know it.
Well, I'm sure that's happened a few times in my life for sure. Probably yours too.
Well,
I probably rubbed elbows with them in the woods, not paying attention. You know.
yeah, people have often told me if they already wanted to get you, they would have.
Exactly. You know, I don't know if
Absolutely,
they're.
they would have.
But
Is the
well, no, maybe these are the good ones, and I haven't run across the bad ones yet. Maybe there's some bully ones.
Oh, I can guarantee you they are.
You know what I'm saying? There's some that we've said this before. There's crazy cryptids. There's mean
Well,
cryptids. There's mean
I told
Sasquatch.
you.
There's cool Sasquatch. There's laid back Sasquatch. There's you know even you know some that have mental problems. You just never know.
Well, I told you that. I don't know, man. I go back and forth so much with all of it.
If they're part human and part animal, why wouldn't they have these kind of
Well,
problems? You know.
when the day that we got growled at, the day before, I was in that area all day by myself. There wasn't another soul down there. All right.
Yeah, I
So
remember you telling me
I
that.
left and I told the dude that went back with me. I showed him the pictures that I had got, which is that really good clear picture of that one standing behind that tree.
You can see the leg bending like the hawk.
No, this one is the one where it's just its head, like it's super clear, like it's the picture that I'm using for the group picture.
Oh, I've seen that one. Yeah, it has a
Well,
blue arrow by it.
yes, over its head. But that picture, I got that picture and I showed it to him, and he wanted to go back the next day, so he went with me. And I got out of the car and I got everything ready. I got my camera because the day before I walked out there and then started getting shit ready and seen one walking right at me, and I didn't even have the camera out. So,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Wow.
the next day I went down there, I got out and got it ready, and I walked out there and listened. It was about, I would say, 50 yards, like half of a football field. It's how far we walked from my car out through it's all sand. It's along a riverbank. So it's flat, but to my left, if I'd have went 5 feet, it starts going down to the river. And to my right goes, like out to the river bottom, and it's real thick in the summertime. The canopy's real thick, and it's just, you can't see that good. But we walked about 50 yards, and I stopped, and the guy with me walked about 4 or 5 more steps on past, and we were really quiet. And I was filming, and I seen something as I was filming, and I said, "Mike, come here," real quietly. I didn't say it that loud. I was like, "Mike, come here and check this out." So he turns around and walks real silently, and he gets almost to me to look at my phone, and it growled at us. And
Wow.
I had been recording 39 seconds when it growled.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
I mean, yeah, we really wasn't there like 15, 20 minutes, but there was somebody there that we had walked past that had a tent, probably some junkies, homeless, whatever they were. They had a tent there anyway. I mean, it had to have been miserable. It was so hot, but you could hear them back, wherever they was. But as loud as you hear that growl on video, you guys have no idea. there was no could that have been a dog or could that have been a bear or could that have been, like that was 100% something that was really, really big. Like that came from deep inside something's gut.
Did you do you think it was that you were getting close to him and it was telling you need to back off, or you like
I don't know.
just letting you know this is a warning shot?
Well, if they're in a different dimension or whatever you want to call it, then what if they seen something that was walking with the guy that was with me that he didn't know about?
That
Or
was
maybe we got in between them. Maybe we came in too silent and got in between them, or I had one on camera and they knew it.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point there. Animals, for instance, they'll look over you and they'll look at the wall behind you, and I know you guys have had animals look at stuff around you that's not there,
I got a
and
husky that does it all the time.
yeah, they're seeing something. You know what? They're
Well,
seeing into another spectrum. They're seeing something from maybe into another dimension. I think they can see it.
My dog, like right now, just where I've had encounters with these animals, these creatures, like that
Mhm.
husky. Tries to stare me down and shit. Like it's eerie, man. She'll try to
Mm.
stare me down. I have to. I gotta let her know who the boss is. You know what I'm saying? Like it freaks me out. Like the stare that dog has, and like you said,
Mhm.
they'll just all of
Oh
a
yeah.
sudden start looking at the wall and shit, and like, yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy.
I've
Picking
got
up
a
on
cat
something.
that I've got cats. They'll hop up on my chest and then they'll just look straight up, and then they'll look around and they'll follow something around the room,
Yeah,
like something
now
was
cats.
walking.
I think cats are really in tune with whatever
They
that
really
is.
are.
Hmm. I think they are too. I don't know what it is about them, but they really are. That their eyesight is so keen, that they pick up everything. They pick up movement, and a thing about a cat and a predator. I don't know if you guys ever heard this or not, but the way that they hunt is, like as humans, we just look when we see a woods, we just look at the woods, but when you hunt long enough, you become like the cat and a predator, and you, instead of just looking at the woods, you start looking through the trees. I
Yes.
take it that's how cats do. They look through everything. They analyze everything, and they look through the brush. They look through the trees. They're looking and picking up movement. Most people, for example, that haven't hunted, especially hunting deer, and you know this, Paul. Most people they just see the trees, man.
Yeah.
They could be deer standing out there. There could be deer standing 20 feet away, and you never see it. And
Yeah.
they blend in so well. Those, like deer, for instance. Paul can probably attest to this. Deer can be laying right with you. You could you could walk right next to a deer and never see it unless it jumps up. You walk
Well,
right by it, and
there's two types of hunters. There's
mm-hmm,
people who have kids at home to feed, and then there's people
mm-hmm,
who like to do it for sport.
mm-hmm.
So the person that's got kids to feed and that's hungry is going to be a lot more aware.
And they're going to pay attention. Yeah, absolutely.
But to me personally, deer hunting, I never used a tree stand. Like I said before, I was poor. I didn't have one, so
Yeah, I
I
didn't
didn't have a
either.
four-wheeler. So I walk hunted. Like I would just walk, and I
Mm-hmm,
had a lot of luck doing it because I would go into areas that people couldn't get to or were just too lazy to go. And I always
mm-hmm.
knew that a deer is happiest where you are at your most wretched. So
Absolutely, in the thickest of the thick, and down in the
yeah,
briars where you wouldn't, and brush that's higher than you. I've hunted in brush so thick that I had to take my gun and grab the butt of the gun and stick it up out
mm-hmm,
of the brush just so my
yeah.
cousins could see me coming through.
Well, and I don't
Um,
like to go hunt in places where you gotta hope one runs by you because it's there's so many people.
Somebody's kicking it up. Yeah, somebody's
Yeah,
running it to you.
or five people's hunting the same scrapes, or like I
Hmm.
like to go. I like to
Well,
go and hunt the deer and
in their natural environment. I'm the same way. When I used to hunt, I had access. I was hunting 3,000 acres, and hell, I'd walk a good 45 minutes to get back in where I was at. I'd walk. There was times I'd walk close to 1.5 miles
Well,
along the river.
You know as well as I do, people these days, when they want to ride their four-wheeler straight into their tree stand and get out.
Yeah,
and get
I've
the tree
never.
stand when they,
Nah, that's not me, man. I ain't never used a 4-wheeler. I go in quiet. I try to find my quietest route to go, and I go in quiet.
Yeah,
But that's just how I was trained to hunt.
I've killed some big deer in my life.
Have you?
Yeah.
What's the biggest one you got, Paul?
I got one in there on the wall. It's a 10 point. That one is the big one, but I killed another 10 point too. 10 points.
Oh.
I think you can hang a ring on that other one that I killed, but I just called it 10 point. You know,
10
but
point.
yeah, that one in there on the wall, I just kept the skull and stuff. I didn't have it mounted, but it was man, it was a beast of a deer. It was huge. I mean,
That's
big,
awesome.
wide. I mean, it was. I can't remember the measurements now. I used to know, but I'd have to go in there and measure it again. To be exact,
I got
20 some inches, 28, 29 inches.
Oh man, that's a monster then.
Yeah,
I got one that's I think it's close to 20 inches, and he's a 13 pointer, and he's got double brow tines. And he's got 6 on one side and 7 on the other.
Yeah,
I got
you
it
mounted that, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I got it with a crossbow.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was going to say a minute ago.
Wow.
Like, anybody really can go into the woods during a rut and kill a deer with a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want a challenge, go in before the rut with a bow and arrow and try to kill a deer.
That's when I like to
on
hunt
the ground.
the most.
On the ground.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, the first deer I ever got was on the ground with a bow.
Yeah.
I was hooked. I was hooked after that.
Mhm.
Man, it's like it's like a drug, man. Whenever you get addicted to the chase, man, and the chase is on.
Yeah. When I was young, my dad shot in a lot of bow tournaments and stuff. So, of course, he ended up entering me in it, and I did too, which I like to shoot competitively, but I didn't really care much for bow hunting. Like, it was, honestly, it was just really hard. Like,
it is tough.
I don't think people understand how hard it is to kill a deer on the ground with a bow and arrow.
You better be ready when they get in there, like especially coming in, because you ain't going to be able to move very much.
Well, I mean,
when they come in,
I put a blind up. I bought a blind, and it was literally just looked like a blanket, but it was a blind you can get at Walmart for like $5.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It looks like a potato sack or whatever.
Yes, sir.
The material, but I took it out and hung it up and left it out there with some. I put some piss and stuff out and left it out there for I don't know, probably 2 weeks, just so deer would get used to it. And I went out there. I was down behind it, and I had a little slit cut out to where I could see without having to poke my head up. And I watched those deer come in and get about 30 yards from me. And I pulled my bow back while behind that blind. And
they heard you, didn't they?
And I no, they stood there, but I eased out to the side, and they wasn't even looking at me. And I was waiting for that deer to raise its head up, and I was going to put one right in its chest. And I swear that buck raised its head up and looked right at me and blowed and took off like that, was gone. Whole herd of deer.
Yes, sir.
Gone.
I had one do me that way behind the house one night. I was hunting, not at night, but I was hunting in the evening, and they where I've got my tree stand, they come out of a thicket, and they kind of come around the end of the thicket and then go by, and there was this one tree right in front of me, and I get a 15-yard shot, and I thought I'm waiting, I'm drawed back, and I'm waiting, and he's over here in the thicket, and he's coming out, and he gets right over to that tree and stopped where I couldn't get a shot, and then it was like he knew I was up there. It was like he knew I was up there, and he took 2 real quick, fast steps just past where I could shoot, and then walked off. Looked at me like, "Yeah, you didn't get me."
Man, ain't that aggravating though?
Yes, sir. You've been there,
your
ain't you?
heart's pounding, and you know yeah. It's right there.
And you know what? The worst thought you can have when you're looking at them is, "I already got this one. Oh, I got this one in the bag," and then you're not getting it.
Yeah, that buck probably look at you and say that as it walks off, but you know what I say? I'll see you during the rut, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You'll come back through
yeah.
here stupid. You'll come back through here stupid as shit.
You know what? That hunting, and there's people out there that don't like it and this and that, but that is the greatest gift you could ever give a kid, is to teach them how to
Yeah.
hunt. That is
I've
the
got
greatest
11
gift
year.
you could ever give them.
I got
Hunt
an
and
11-year-old
fish.
daughter right now that'll stick her hand and drag and field dress a deer and not flinch. She really, I mean, she's something else, man. My daughter is, she's
That's
straight
awesome,
hillbilly.
man.
She never lived in the mountains in her life, and she's a hillbilly.
Well, that's all
Hey,
right.
can't
That's all right.
leave fishing out either.
Listen, my
No.
my ex-wife, we went down to Tennessee and we stayed in like Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, I believe. There was
Mhm.
some kind of big motel there. It burnt down a few years ago anyway, but we stayed there, and my ex was like, she said, I'm gonna take Marley. My daughter's name's Marley. She's like, I'm gonna take Marley with me. She was like 3 or 4 at the time, maybe. She said, I'm gonna take her with me. I'm gonna go down to the store. The store, it was a little store attached to the place we were staying, the Wingate or whatever it's called. But I was like, all right. So I was sitting there watching TV, and she comes back about 30 minutes later, and she's like, oh my God, her face was red. She's like, man. She said, there was this old couple down there walking their dog, and they started talking to my daughter, because she loves animals. And she said, they asked her what she's doing down here in the Smoky Mountains stuff. She said, me and my dad, we're going to go up the Smoky Mountains and we're going to find Bigfoot. My ex.
Yeah. All
Man,
right.
she was so embarrassed.
There was some footage I saw one time that was shot from a helicopter. It was over the Smoky Mountains, and it was a footage of this helicopter was hovering, and it was filming a Bigfoot walking down a fence row.
Wow!
And in the Smoky Mountains, I wish I could find that footage again. I was telling me and David was talking to Red Dirt Cryptids, the guy from Red Dirt Cryptids, on our last show, and there's some footage that I've seen it. I saw it a couple times, and I should have saved it, and I cannot find it for the life of me. But these people are shooting a video, and it looks like they're in maybe a neighborhood or something. But the road goes out, and it teed into like a main road, but across the road was a field, like this real pretty prairie looking field. And you see this, it looked like a bear on all fours walking out in the prairie. And that bear stands up and walks away. And it's not a bear. But I tell you what, Paul, the way that thing was walking, the way that it was walking, it was almost like it knew that the camera could see it, and it was like trying to mimic a bear. And it looked exactly like a bear until it stood up. Had the cone head and everything. You know how they say they have a conical shaped head, and it turned and it walks away. There you go. Go ahead.
Have you heard that old man on? I don't know if you listen to Coast to Coast or not, but
yeah, I used to listen to Coast to Coast.
There's a guy named Bugs on there. He said he killed a Bigfoot down in Texas. Him and his buddies back in the
when
the 80s maybe. I thought maybe it's 70s or 80s.
Yeah, I think you're right. And he went into bush after him.
Yeah,
they say a couple of them was Vietnam vets or something like that, and they were poaching.
Yeah,
they were.
Well, no, they were fur hunters.
Fur hunters, yeah. There you go.
And he said that he shot that Bigfoot and it run down into that thicket and down in that like a wash, but it was a thicket. He said, and he said he went in there to get it because he had the biggest handgun, and he said it came at him, and he said I shot it, but after he shot it, he realized that it was another one. I guess he shot the female that time, and the first time they shot the male. And the female was trying to drag that male back into that thicket, and he went in after it, and she turned on him and he shot her. But he said they buried both of them and said he sent a map to Art Bell.
Art Bell. Yeah, I remember that. Yes, sir, I remember that. That'd be interesting to find that area. What do you think, Paul, about that guy that supposedly shot that? It was a female Bigfoot, and it had a couple juvenile. They were elk hunting or something.
You're talking about Justin Smagey or whatever his name is. Justin Smagey.
Is that his name? Yeah.
I think he's telling the truth.
I think he went back in and get some DNA or something,
I
and it
think
was
he,
gone.
I think he blabbed his mouth to the wrong people, and they went back up there and
Cleaned it out.
yeah, I think
Didn't
so. Because he said there was a piece of bear hide there.
You know, that's
You know,
one of the things that
it's
you
awful
just
convenient.
cannot. That's just one of the things you cannot do if you come across one of these things. Is start blabbing. You better
Well, think
you better
about
know
it.
what you're doing.
Think about it for a second. This guy had never done anything in his life on YouTube about Bigfoot or anything. He never mentioned it or anything until that story was told. And right now, I don't know about now, but there for about 3 years of his life, he literally spent up there dedicated with a group of guys trying to prove what he was telling everybody was real.
Mm.
So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, I know how he feels, and I believe him.
I tell you, when I heard that, he talked about killing those juvenile Bigfoot
Yeah,
after he shot the mom. That just kind of made me sick at my
yeah, I
stomach.
mean, it was
You
it
know,
was a shitty thing to do, and even he said that now looking back. But I mean, it is what it is, and only
and
thing that
you
I
know,
think sucked about it was he did it in vain. If he should have at least threw that thing in the back of the truck. He could have proved a
yeah.
lot and done a lot
Mhm.
with that dead body, you know. So
Oh man,
I
he
hate
should. Yeah.
If they would
I
have
hate
let
that
him.
he shot it and left it laying. You know, I don't like that.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't. I just, and it was like when he was telling the story, it was like almost being right there with him. You know, I mean, it was
Yeah.
just like, you know,
Well, he said they were looking
I
for the
could,
same thing that they were looking for. They were looking for their mother, I guess, and that's what he was looking for. So he said they would come together and go, meh, 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 and then they would split up and go and look, and they'd come back and do that again. And
Mhm.
I guess he got tired of looking and finally just shot one. So, but he said as soon as he picked it up and looked at it in the eyes, he regretted it. You know, so he probably loses sleep
Yeah.
over that.
Oh
Hey,
man.
hey, Paul. You being in the woods a lot, have you ever heard Sasquatch whoops or
Yes,
seen
absolutely.
seen tree bends and all those structures and all that stuff?
I took Ricardo Sanchez.
What about tree knocks? Sorry.
Yeah, I took Ricardo Sanchez out here to this
Hmm.
area, and we heard
He
one or
had an
two.
encounter as well, right on Vix.
Well, we had. I'm not sure.
I thought
I
he
don't
did.
know,
Okay.
but he said he. I don't know if he did or not, but we heard a couple of whoops, some tree knocks, and uh, but the day that we got growled at, I haven't told a lot of people about the day that we got growled at down there. After we backed up, there was something on the other side because there's a creek that runs through this river bottom out to the river, and it's about 15 feet straight down and then 15 feet straight back up. So there's a creek in between. It runs right through the center of the river bottom. So there was something right on the other side of that creek over there going back and forth. And the only thing I can tell you that it sounded like was the sound that you hear when a buck sees you and blows and runs off.
Mm.
You know how
Oh,
a buck will
the
go,
grunt.
Yeah.
it'll blow real
Yeah.
hard and then it'll run off. But whatever it was over there kept doing that over and over and over, and it was going back and forth like it would go like 30 yards this way and it would blow real hard, and then it would go back 30 yards this way and it did the same thing. Now, I couldn't get a visual on it, but
Wow.
I tried to record it, but you couldn't hear it because I guess it was so far away and the birds were chirping and shit. So, yeah, excuse my language.
Have you had any encounters with the hoot owls, Paul? That didn't
Well,
sound
listen,
quite like a hoot owl.
my dad, this is no lie. My dad can make owls come down and hit the top of the tent at night. Like
Wow.
my dad was good. Like he
Wow.
literally sounded just like an owl. I mean, it was
Wow.
insane. But I mean, I've had a lot of experience with owls because I come from a family that liked to coon hunt, and
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time in the mountains doing different stuff, ginsenging, growing other stuff, and I've just spent a lot of time. I've spent a lot of time in the woods,
Uh-huh. Was them tomatoes good? Was them tomatoes good, Paul?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't just grow it; we also took it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You got to harvest what you plant.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or
Them
what
tomatoes
somebody else
are.
planted. What somebody else planted.
My cousins found some of them that it was planted like out, and They were stupid and turned them in. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have either.
I turned them into cash.
I'd have turned the other cheek.
Nah, man. Hey, listen, it's all fair. I don't go in looking like I don't go behind somebody's house or something. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm out in the woods and I run across some, I mean, it is what it is. You know, because I know how people are. I know how people are. You got to grow 3 patches. You got to grow the thieves a patch, the cops a patch, and then you might get some. And that's just how it is where I'm from. I mean, people are grimy, man. You can't.
Pretty greasy, huh?
Loose lips sink ships. That's what I know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was going to say, Paul, man, one more good one. If you could give any advice to the newcomers into this cryptid world, what would you give them?
Stay away. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, seriously, I don't know what to tell anybody at this point.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I mean, no.
Hey, I can't disagree more.
Don't go out alone. Always carry a gun and watch David Pilati's show.
There you go. Good
and look out for copperhead and rattlesnake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just a given. You just got to know. Well, just this past year, I took video of it. I think I seen
when they fall from the trees, it's pretty scary.
I walked right by a copperhead, and I didn't know it, but I stopped because I was really cautious because there was a bunch of little rocks, like, you know, they were like this big, a bunch of them, because there was a cliff back up the mountain, and these rocks had rolled down, and it was on a point. So I was really careful because I didn't have on snake bite pants. So I took my time and walked through there really good and looked and made sure. I mean, I was terrified. I'm not kidding. I had a stick at one point out in front of me, like, because you just couldn't tell, man. So, and I knew that area was at my grandpa's house, behind his house, and I knew it was known for copperheads and big rattlesnakes. So, yeah, that worried me. I got a lot of people depending on me, and me being out of work and being down like that. I'm highly allergic to bees anyway. I can imagine what a copperhead would do to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to a tree and I stopped and my boot was loose. So I sat down and tied my boot, got it tight, and I stood back up and I picked my gun up. I had this shotgun with me, but I also had my handgun with me. So I stopped at a tree and was leaning against it, and I was looking down the hill. And I don't know why, but just for some reason, I looked over my right shoulder and I looked right at a copperhead. It was laying right, not 5 feet from me, where I sat down and tied my boot. And I sat there for a second, just in total shock. I got my phone out and recorded it for a second. And then I pulled my handgun and shot it and killed it. And then I videoed it again. But
those things have superior camouflage too. Those copperheads, man.
They'll
blend right in, and they'll blend right into the leaves, man. You never even see them.
Yeah, he was camouflaged. I'm talking about he was curled up in a little tight ball. But after when I shot him, he spread it out, and he was at least probably, I'd say, 1.5 feet, 2 feet long.
Wow, that's enough to hurt you.
Oh man, yeah, it would have put a hurting on you.
I've seen them out driving through the country down here, usually around the creeks. Crossing the road, they cross the road on you on the gravel roads. They go up on, I guess it's warm up on the gravel road. And, hang out.
Somebody asked my advice a minute ago. If you go into an area, go to the nearest water source. I don't care if it's a mud puddle, or if it's a creek, or whatever it is. Just go to it and look for tracks. Check for tracks, because that'll tell you what kind of animals is in that area. That's usually what I look for.
Especially up and down the creeks where it's muddy and where there's water in the creek, where the mud is. That's how I track my deer and look for a good area to hunt is through the creeks. And I like to look for it. Go ahead.
I mean, a lot of people don't know, but copperheads give birth twice a year, and so do bobcats.
Hey, did you hear my story about the bobcat this year while I was deer hunting, Paul?
No,
I was deer hunting, and I had there's probably 7 or 8 does out in front of me, and it was getting just that right time of night, and I got this. I've always done it. I don't know why, but I always done it. It's like a sixth sense. I'll be looking a half hour before whatever's coming will in the direction where it's coming from. And so I just kept having this feeling like something was coming to my right, and I thought, there's something going to come down through there. And so I'm watching these deer, and all of a sudden these deer come running down the field right in front of me, and they start stomping and blowing. And I'm thinking, there ain't no way. There ain't no way they saw me. There ain't no way they smelled me. I wasn't moving. And the wind was coming from them to me, so it was in my favor. And they're looking down to my right where I felt like something was coming. And so I get to looking, and here come this bobcat out. And this bobcat comes out, and she gets about, 60, 70 yards out in the field, and turns around and looks at the edge of the woods and starts meowing, like making this meowing sound. And she ended up going back to the tree line, and then she come back out in the field and did it again. And I thought, man, that bobcat's acting really weird. And so when it came to the field for the third time, the two little babies come out. It had two baby cubs.
Listen, man,
cubs.
I'd give anything to have one, like a bobcat, a baby.
Well, yeah, check this out. I was looking at them, and they started coming down the edge of the field, and the first thought to come to my mind was, ooh, I wouldn't want to get in between that mama and those babies. And you know what happened, Paul?
Yeah.
You know what happened?
You got in between them?
They come right up my tree. The two little ones started climbing. Yes, they sure did. They climbed right up my tree. And she came down the field and sat right in front of my tree at 20 yards. I didn't move, and I thought, this is getting bad. I'm going to have to do something. So I just stood up. All I had was with my crossbow with me. So I stood up. When I stood up, they shot down the tree and went down the edge of the field. And she sat there in that field and looked up at me and was going, growling. And I thought, oh shit, she's going to come up his tree at me. And so I just put my hands out and I talked to her, and I said, just real calm, I said, listen, Mom, I said, I'm not going to hurt you or your babies. And I said, now you go get your babies. And I pointed down the field, and she took off and went right after her babies. That's a true story, Paul. I'm not making it up. It happened.
No, I believe you.
And I had one of those ladder stands, it's got like the little cushion on it, like the little flat cushion that sits on it.
I've got one. I got one now.
And it was tore up on one end, looked like something had shredded the end of it. And I think those cats were getting up there, those little bobcat kittens were getting up there, and they were walking back and forth on that platform, playing around. Yeah.
Look,
that's a true story, man. Yeah, what is that?
Camera? That's a trail camera. Well,
is that is that one of them ones that take? Let me see if I can blow it up.
This right here is the infrared.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna take tape and I'm gonna put it around that, because that's why that right there. That's why you don't get nothing with a trail camera.
Right.
You're dealing with something that's nocturnal, right?
That's right.
The only way I can explain it to you is if you tie this to a tree and it snaps a picture in the middle of the night. If a dogman or a Bigfoot standing off in the distance, it would be like
it lights up like a spotlight.
Well, it would be like you standing out in the woods at nighttime with no flashlight, and you're looking at 30 yards away, and you see somebody with a flashlight. So that's how they see this.
Yes, sir. I believe that exactly what you're saying.
If you want to keep them away from your house, or you don't want to see one, then put a trail camera up.
Yeah.
So,
and then, Paul, I've always thought that another reason why they can detect it is they see they can see it, like for one, like you're talking about. But then when they're following deer, if they're hunting deer and they're following deer and the deer walk by deer are setting it off and they're seeing it the deer and the other animals set it off.
Well, like Jody Cook said also, I mean, these are made with petroleum and all kinds of stuff. So
and they can smell it.
I'm sure they can. But I usually spray this with some kind of deer piss or something. I'll spray on it. You know what I'm saying? So
I'll tell you something, Paul. I've been thinking about it. You ever seen those deer drippers that drip? They drip a little. I thought about getting some. If I used the trail cameras, to get some skunk pee or some fox and put it in the dripper and let it drip on top of that, just in a spot, so that smell is always fresh to mask the scent of that.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this infrared light up, and I'm going to take this down. We're going to take this down, and I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it on a tree facing down the beach at the river, and I mean, whatever's there, if it is at all flesh and blood, it has to drink water. You know what I'm saying? It has to get a drink of water. So
what are those cameras called, Paul? I know you've probably heard of them for deer hunting. They're the ones that they just take a progressive picture every 15 minutes. You know what I'm talking about?
This one here does it. It has different settings on it. You can take this one here will take video, or it will take pictures, and you can set it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15. The delay on it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but what I'm talking about is the one that it's like a scout. It's a scout camera, but it's not used at night. It's just for like a daytime. You know what I'm talking about? I think Primo's made them. I can't think of what the exact name of it was, but it snapped pictures like every few minutes or every however long
now,
you
see,
set
I've
it.
heard of cameras out. I've heard
Without
of cameras
activating.
like that, but I don't know. I haven't never seen one.
You know, one of the things I thought about is a lot of people don't think about the older technology, like the you remember the old cameras that had the flash, like the flash on them? I think those would be a good one too, but you'd only be good for about one shot.
Well, I
know
thought
what I mean?
for a long time that the one that sends the picture to you in email, I thought that would be probably a good one. But then I seen that guy in that group say that he got a picture that was sent to him from his camera. I don't know, David probably remembers it, and he said by the end of the day it was gone, or by sometime during the day it was gone. Somebody had got in his phone and deleted it.
I believe it. I believe it.
I mean, that's just wild to think that they're monitoring. I mean, they would have to be monitoring every camera that does that, I guess. But you don't know. People get excited. It's hard to say who he told.
Hey, Paul, whenever you put that camera out, have you tried putting tree bark around it and cutting a hole through the tree bark?
Yeah, listen, if I sent you a picture right now, it'd probably blow your mind just when you said that. Last time I took it to Daniel Bowden, I got that picture of that big black bear. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
that was awesome.
That's what I did. I tied this to a tree, and I found it looked like a half of a stump, a log, but it was cut in half, long ways, and it had a big hole.
Where it was sloughing off.
Okay, well, I lowered this all the way down to where it fit perfect over that hole, like inside that hole. And I put that log up. And one of the guys that was with me had some string. I tied that string around that tree, and you could not see that trail camera whatsoever. You couldn't see it.
That's awesome.
So,
hey, Lee, you got a question in the chat from Shane.
Okay, let me see if I can see.
He wants to know. Have you ever seen what you think is a dogman or a Sasquatch while out deer hunting?
No, but I have. Well, I saw the eyes. That's the one of the big encounters. The first big encounter that I ever had.
He said they had eyes like. Would you say Felix the cat?
Yeah, like Felix the cat. They were, and I'd say they were close to at least a baseball size. Both of them.
Wow,
that's how big around they were. And they were like an amber color, and when I say amber, I'm talking about like a mix between a white and a yellowish color. And they lit up. The eyes lit up, and I don't understand how that's possible that things have their eyes light up like that.
And you've seen that video of Kurt's. Now you tell me how broad daylight that thing had glowing green eyes. That was insane, man.
You know, these eyes, Paul, they had slits in them like a cat. You know what I'm talking about? Like the Felix the cat.
Yeah.
So they were lit up, but they had the black slits in them right in the center. And I'm guessing I'm guessing it was probably 8 feet off the ground, 7-8 feet off the ground, and whatever. Because I was looking downhill, and it was quite a ways quite a ways off the ground. It wasn't like I was looking straight off at it. It was, I was looking down at it, but up. It was up in the air.
Right.
And it come walking in. I was deer hunting, and it come walking in. I got there an hour before daylight, and it was pitch black. And like you say, you didn't have a climbing tree stand to get in, so I was hunting on the ground because I was poor too. I didn't have one. I didn't have a tree blind, and it come walking in from my left, and I was up on a ridge top. And what it was there was these four. There was these four ridges. There was one to my right, one to my left. There was one straight across in front of me. And then I was standing on one, and I was standing amongst a couple trees that kind of come up like a V shape, and using that as a blind to get behind. And the reason why I picked that spot was because it made a bowl down in the bottom of it. It was like a bowl. So if anything came in off the any ridge top four ways, I was going to have a good shot. I would have at least a 30-yard shot, especially if they come down in the bottom. And that's why I picked that spot. But whatever this creature was that came in there, it walked in. It walked in on two legs, come right down the hill, and
Was it daylight?
No, it was an hour before daylight.
Yeah.
And the morning I remember driving there in the morning that morning, and I remember it being foggy. It was kind of foggy and misty out. The out gets kind of misty and foggy, and you couldn't see your hand in front of your face.
Dogman weather.
Yeah, and this thing it walked in, and then it passed me. It passed by just at a little bit of an angle to my left, and it stopped. And when it stopped, I was like looking down in the dark, and then these eyes lit up, and they was, like I said, they was the size of, looked like baseball size eyes. And at first when I saw it, I thought to myself, there's somebody in here with coon coal miner lights on their hat, like the coon hunters use. And I thought, there's two. They put two of them on the helmet, and they're messing with me. But they were too high off the ground. And so as I'm standing there looking at it, as quick as it appeared, it just like the eyes, I think what it did was it turned its head. And when it turned its head, it started walking off, and I couldn't see the eyes anymore. But when that thing was standing there, it was like, I didn't hear a voice inside my head or anything like that, but it was like what they term mind speak.
Yeah.
And what I felt this thing tell me was, I just wanted you to know that I'm here. So
damn.
Interesting.
And then it just went off. It went off to my left and walked off, and it went up the ridge. The other ridge that I was telling you was to my right. It walked up that ridge, and then it walked out into an open field. And now where that field was, there was a road just on the other side of the field, and so it headed in that direction. But yeah, there wasn't anybody. I would say Bigfoot, but then why would the eyes have slits in them? And then I've heard accounts of dogmen with the slits in the eyes.
Well, I've got other things on camera too. I got pictures of other things besides.
Well, another thing that about that area that I'm telling you where I had this encounter was I would see UFOs all the time over there.
I've got what looks like a reptilian on camera too. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
you know what, Paul?
Frog, like a big old. Yeah, I've seen it. It's an excellent picture.
It looks like a mix between some kind of lizard and a bird to me.
Mm-hmm.
That also, you talking about lizard and a bird. They down in, I think the Mayans or Aztecs talk about Quetzalcoatl, which was a bird and a reptile.
Well, the other night we were sitting here, and I was talking to my girlfriend, and I showed her. I was going through a video, and I seen a dog's face at the bottom of this tree, and then there was another one on top of it, and then another one on top, all the way up this tree now, like, I don't know, 20 feet. I said, does that not look like a totem pole? I mean, it looks.
Yeah, what did I call them, Lee? I called them the totem pole of dogmen, because that's what they do.
Well, could you imagine taking doing some DMT or something, and going out here in these areas? Seriously, I mean, you imagine what kind of shit you would see? Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, guys, I'm going to have to go. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. We didn't mean to keep you up late.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I didn't know.
No, that I was just going to say that DMT. That's a whole nother subject, man. That's a very fascinating. That's a very fascinating topic.
Yeah,
You know,
I
and
listened to
if
Joe
people,
Rogan and Mike Tyson talk about it.
I have too. I watched a documentary about it and
Well, they say
the
what
people's
20%,
experiences.
20% of your life will never be the same again. It says.
Yep.
Yeah, because they talked about in the documentary they talked about they called it the God molecule or something like that,
Yeah.
and what they wanted to use it for was for people that were like in hospice care that were at end of life, and they were going to use it to give them a glimpse of what we would believe the afterlife would be, because
You know, you know what
Go ahead.
bothers me, man, is like you go to the hospital where you got a loved one dying or they're in there with whatever disease, cancer, whatever. I mean, the hospital room just looks so, I don't know,
dreary.
like, yes, like why would they not paint stuff all on the walls and stuff and make this like you know what I'm saying, like a place that somebody, I don't know, man. I think about wild shit,
We actually did that where at my hospital we all got a room and we could paint things on the walls like pictures and stuff, and we did like barnyard scenes and like hot air balloons, and one room was like a space theme with different planets on it, and just give them, give it a better appearance for the kids and stuff. But yeah, it's that you're
Well,
absolutely right. It's dreary.
hey,
Here's something that I didn't mean to interrupt you, but here's something that I had told him a long time ago. I had to sit with a fellow one time that was he was dying and he was in such a bad shape. He just looked at me and he said, "I'm just sick and tired of being tired." And I was looking out the window, and he was sitting there looking out the window, but he was looking at the rooftop, the rooftop of the hospital.
yeah.
And I thought to myself, and I even mentioned it to my bosses and stuff. I said, we need to put, like they have those suction cup bird feeders they put on the windows. And I said, they need to be putting like some bird feeders there to where the birds can come up. And at least these people are going to get to see maybe a bird the last minute or second of their life. I would rather be looking at that than looking at the roof. But, anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I think
I
maybe
agree.
it can be a lot better. Everything could be a lot better. That's another thing, Paul. They're hiding all this stuff from us. They're stealing our money. They're robbing us blind. We're making us work like slaves, and we're just feeding off the scraps, man. And we could, the schools. My wife got a job at a high school, and I went in there. It was a dirty, dirty high school. And it's like I told her it was despicable. They, they're robbing it. They're just robbing. The education system could be so much better. The healthcare system could be just
they come
out of
in
this
and
world.
they tax our paycheck. They tax your paycheck $200 or $300. Then they charge you 6 cents on the dollar for everything that you buy, and then they charge you. I mean, everything, man. Just every part of your life. They even got a death tax for you now. I mean,
They tax you to make it, tax you to take it, and tax you to use it.
Well, I mean, and can you blame them? Us as citizens, dumb. We just let this. They might as well walk up to your house and come on in and just grab your wallet out of your back pocket and take half your money and then take off. Like we just sit around and take it. So I mean, you can't blame them.
I can assure you this: I'm not just going to sit here and take it.
We already have. It's too late now. Like they've already. Really not much.
You're
else
right. Yeah, you're absolutely
right.
It's
frustrating, man. It really is frustrating. Only thing worse than doing it is knowing about it, and not being able to do anything about it.
Absolutely. I cannot believe the American people just lay down and take it, man. I never thought I'd ever live to see it in my life.
You know what the gas just done? Like here where I'm at, it leveled off right now. That $3.99. That's where it's at right now. So
like that's something.
They'll raise it up like that to $3.99. Everybody will bitch and moan and cry. Well, as soon as everybody starts calming down and stuff and everything's cool, they'll raise it again. Now you'll get mad. Well, you'll calm down again, then they'll raise it again. That's how they do
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah, it's an ebb and flow. They see how far they can go, and then they back off a little bit, and then then the next time they come at you, they take a little more. Yeah, there's a manifesto. There's a whole recipe that they follow to do that to you.
Yep, they push,
and that's what they've done.
and then they'll wait,
Mhm.
and they'll let everybody cool down, and everything. Everybody gets used to the new, and then they'll do it again, and then here we are.
When I was younger, I wanted to sign up for the Marine Corps and go in the Marine Corps just like my dad. And he went over and fought in Vietnam.
too.
But you know what? My dad taught me not to go do that, because he would always tell me, like, the stuff that you see on TV, like the wars and stuff, like say for instance the one going on now. He said, what they're showing you on TV, that's not what's really going on.
You know what the first
they
thing
don't
to
ever
die
show
in
you
war
what's
is?
The what now? The die in a
first
war?
thing, yeah,
I'm not sure.
the truth.
Absolutely. There you go. Well said, Paul. Well said. Yeah. And humanity dies in it.
I mean, like you said earlier, I don't believe a thing. If it comes out CNN or any news organization, I don't believe it.
Hey, I had a guy tell me one time that was in Iraq. He told me he come back from Iraq. He said, we hated to see CNN coming, over there. He said, because when they saw CNN show up, he said they knew they were going to get ambushed. He said CNN had better intel than they had.
Well, I mean, you've
What's
seen
that tell you?
2 weeks before 9/11, CNN was up there interviewing Bin Laden, the best intelligence agency in the world, with the biggest budget in the world, the greatest intelligence agency in the world couldn't find him, but CNN went and interviewed him.
You know why the CIA couldn't find him? Because he worked for the CIA.
Exactly right.
Bin Laden was a CIA asset.
He went to college right here in the United States.
Yes, he sure did. He sure did. Well, Paul, I'm sorry we kept you up so late.
No, that's all right, man. But all this stuff we've talked about is stuff that anybody can go and look up. Now, they don't advertise it to you, but if you're smart enough and care enough to go look it up, it's out there. All the stuff I said about the dinosaurs, all the stuff I said about flat Earth, everything I've said is out there for people to look up on their own, and make a decision about.
Yes, sir. And they, I'm not trying to sway anybody's opinion or anything, but if you go look it up, it's there, just exactly like you said. You know what, Paul? They have it though anymore, where when you go to look this stuff up, they have their fact checkers. As soon as I see the words fact checker, that throws a red flag to me to say, look in the other direction, because that's where the truth lies.
Well, think about it like this. There is far more pictures on this planet. There's far more pictures out there of Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein than they are of anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But you go on Google right now and type in the search bar, pictures of Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton, and see what it pulls up.
Mm-hmm.
It'll pull up pictures of Trump and Epstein.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to put your focus on something else.
That's just how it is, man. It's the world we live in. But there's a lot of people out there that don't want to admit it, and they have a hard time believing that our government, that there's an evil working in this world. That's really what it is. It just permeates through the culture. I mean, it's been indoctrinated. Well, during the Canaanites' time, they used to sacrifice kids every single day. But what they would do is they would take the kids down, and then they would play loud music. Music is just as evil as everything else. They would play that loud music so the parents couldn't hear them kids screaming. Then don't they say that the Lucifer was the in charge of the music in heaven? Yeah, absolutely. And that's what happened. That's what happened to the black community. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, it was gangster rap. That's what happened to the black community. It's what's going on right now with it, and that's what keeps it thriving. You're absolutely correct on that. And anybody that does some research can find it online. I watched a video where it was a black guy. He was talking about how he was invited to a meeting. He was a famous rapper. Yeah, he was invited to a meeting where they talked about the super prisons.
they were starting super prisons back in the 90s.
Well, they
and
were
that's
starting
when
privately owned.
Yes, privately owned super prisons, and that's where they put forward the gangster rap. They were trying to glorify the gang life so that they could start filling up the prisons.
Well, you'd be amazed
And
at
look,
some of the people
hey,
that we look up to that own prisons. Michael Jordan owned prisons. I mean, there's just a bunch of people who you wouldn't ever think.
Here's one. I'm sure you've heard this one before, Paul. What's the word sagging spelled backwards? And you know they sag their pants in prison.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's just it's a travesty, man. It really is, seeing what's going on.
And when I say that, I'm not degrading any race of people or anything except by saying that backwards. I'm just saying,
well,
be aware, of
people
how
don't know
we're
the
all
history
fooled.
of race. People don't know the history of where the KKK and all this stuff started. It's out there to look and watch.
The KGC.
No, the KKK was started by the Democrat Party.
Yeah, but it used to be, wasn't it called the Knights of the Golden Crown or something like that? The KGC.
I'm not sure. There's a documentary on Netflix called Hillary's America. If you watch it, that guy put together a phenomenal documentary, man.
Did you know about Jesse James, the famous train robber, right?
Yeah.
Did you know they were robbing trains because they were trying to get gold? They were going to go down and get weapons from the Mexicans and start the Civil War over again. Did you ever hear that?
No, I never did hear that one. But I wouldn't doubt
Yeah,
it,
that's
man.
what there's supposed to be hidden gold. Jesse James and him was supposed to hid gold, and they say if you're ever out in the mountains and you find a turkey track that's carved in stone, that you're getting close.
Huh. I never heard that.
Yeah, I watched a documentary on that too. They were looking for the gold of the KGC, the Knights of the Golden Crown.
Well, I got tired of. I'll be honest. I got tired of not being able to have a meaningful conversation with somebody, or not being able to have a debate on the way I felt. You know what I'm saying? And the things I see going on, I couldn't articulate it. So I went and I just learned every single thing that I could about politics and the stuff that I could argue with anybody right now. I could debate anybody, and I could have them talking about punctuation and shit. At the end of it, that's how you know you won the debate, when they start talking about your grammar.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I learned a lot, man, and some of it's watching the Democrat Party have black people tear down statues and erase proof of what party and what people, which the parties are. It's all just an illusion anyway. You know as well as I do that two-party system is bullshit anyway. But but yeah, it's
best way I ever heard
into it, man. It's frustrating. I feel bad.
Well, Albert, do you know who Albert Pike is?
Yeah, the founder of the Freemasons.
They've all that stuff's the way things are even evolved now, and the things that are going on, it was all pre-planned. Like they pre-planned World War I, World War II, World War III, the terrorist thing.
Well,
they planned it.
They fund both sides of the war.
Yes, they do. They sure do.
They're
they did that
right
in the Civil War. Yes, they are. You're absolutely right, man. You sure are. You sure are.
China's funding it. Everybody's funding it.
Oh yeah,
it's the most insane thing. It's
insanity.
I don't even know.
That's the best way to put it.
All I can tell people is do not believe anything. I know everybody wants to believe Putin is this big monster and he's doing all this stuff, and what the truth is, I think it's probably far different. I think the same thing that happened in America in 2020, I think it happened in Ukraine too, and I think Putin done something about it, or is doing something. Well,
absolutely, and if you go back and you can find all this online, I just watched. I saw a thing the other day about it. Saddam Hussein, he went to gold-backed currency.
I watched it.
Gaddafi went to gold-backed currency. That Assad over in Syria went to gold-backed currency. Putin is doing gold-backed currency now.
Well,
the
listen,
ruble is now backed in gold and silver.
have you heard of a guy called Eric Dubay?
Eric Duvay or
Eric Dubay, Dubay.
I'll have to look it up.
You need to look him up on. I wouldn't go to YouTube. Go on Facebook and look him up, and go to his channel and go watch his videos. That guy puts together some of the best documentaries that I have ever heard. I mean, I'm talking about on Hitler, on the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
He puts together some of the best on the dinosaurs, all that stuff I told you, and everything that he talks about. He shows you documentation. He shows you how he did the research, and he shows you how it's all right there for you to look at. Nobody just ever talks about it or advertises it, so you just assume it don't exist, but it's there.
You know, history's written by the winners of the wars.
Exactly right.
You know, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. But all right, guys, I'll let you go.
All right.
I enjoyed it, man.
Adios.
I
do too. Hey, let's do it again. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Do what?
I said I don't even care if one person watched it.
Hey, let's do this again sometime, Paul. We don't just have to talk about cryptids. We can talk about it all, man. It all ties into it anyway.
It does. I talk about everything. I don't. You know, there's not a lot of people that I talk to anyway. Period. Just because.
I'm the same way, man.
I'm just different.
You can't talk to anybody. They
don't want to know. They don't care, and they don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like in that movie, The Matrix. That guy that didn't want to. You know, he didn't want to remember anything. You know,
that's how it is. Really, people don't want to know.
All righty, Paul. Well, let's we'll cut this off and we'll do it again. All right, Paul. Have a good night, buddy.
All right, you too, buddy.
Adios, man. Bye. Good night, everybody. Have a good one.